I used a low-quality Lord token and got teleported to a new world. Right away, I could feel spiritual energy in the air, which meant this wasn't some ordinary world. I got lucky. Let me explain. I'm Ninggu. My talent for cultivation is terrible. I have an artificial spirit root, and it's only low grade. After 3 years of high school, I only reached the second level of chi refining. I couldn't get into college, so I became a spirit farmer, growing low-level herbs to earn spirit stones. I worked non-stop for 5 years, and combined with the 8,000 spirit stones my parents left me, I barely scraped together 10,000 to buy the cheapest Lord token available. 99% of the time, a low-quality token sends you to a boring, normal world with no cultivators. But I had no choice. It was all I could afford. So when I arrived and sensed spiritual energy, I was thrilled. Then some guy behind me spoke up and called me fellow Taoist. That confirmed it. This was a cultivation world. I hit that 1% chance. The guy's name was by Shursan. He was about my age, wearing white robes, and his cultivation was at chi refining level 3, same as mine. He was sitting by a lake called Fallen Dragon Lake, fishing. And when he mentioned dragon fish, I almost lost my mind. Dragon fish carry a trace of dragon bloodline. Even the lowest grade ones sell for 100 spirit stones. If I could catch some, I'd earn back what I spent on my Lord token in no time. Bai Shursan tried to sell me some regular spirit fish for 30 spirit stones, but I turned him down. They weren't worth much to me, and honestly, I was broke. I played it cool though, told him I'd only be interested in dragon fish. He got excited and said he'd sell me a dragon fish once he caught one. He'd been fishing here over a month without landing one, but he seemed confident. The lake price for low-grade dragon fish was about 100 to 120 spirit stones, basically the same as back home on Yanhuang Star. So my idea of buying cheap here and selling for profit back home was dead on arrival. The early Lord pioneers had already evened out the prices years ago. Fine, I'd just catch the fish myself. This huge lake had to be full of dragon fish. But then I remembered the real problem. The dragon fish catching device costs over 1,000 spirit stones. I didn't have that kind of money. I got excited way too early. Let me explain how everything works. How my world, Yanhuang Star, got to where it is today. In the year 2998 of the Yanhuang calendar, heavenly tokens fell from the sky. Gateways to countless worlds opened up, and spiritual energy came back to life. That's when everything changed. The return of spiritual energy wasn't a blessing. Monster tides wiped out most nations on our planet. Only Yanhuang Nation survived, and that was thanks to the Lord tokens. By some lucky coincidence, these tokens only appeared within Yanhuang territory, and only people with Yanhuang bloodline could bond with them. The other races on our planet? They all got wiped out. Our nation tried to help them. Well, supposedly tried, but they all died anyway. Over the centuries, our people discovered martial arts from other worlds, then later found the immortal cultivation system. Cultivation was way stronger, especially for extending your lifespan, but it required spirit roots, which most people didn't have. So in the year 3266, our scientists created artificial spirit roots, and the whole population started cultivating. By the year 3999, our first immortal appeared. After that, we spread across the galaxy. Now, in the year 5999, 36 elders, all immortals, lead our race as we push deeper into space. We've apparently even found other cosmic races out there. Since the population grew faster than tokens could be handed out, the government switched from giving them away to selling them. The token tiers go like this. Low quality costs 10,000 low-grade spirit stones, black iron costs 100,000, bronze costs 1,000,000, and silver costs 10 million. There are even higher tiers, but those are only given as rewards to geniuses. The low-quality token I bought has a 99% chance of sending you to a plain world with no cultivators. Only 1% chance of something better. People once thought there was a loophole, that 1% has no upper limit on world rank. Worlds are ranked from ordinary all the way up to great 1,000 worlds where supreme immortals live. But after thousands of years, the best a low-quality token ever achieved was a 2-star world. So nobody cares about that slim chance anymore. Each person can only bond with one token in their lifetime. Once you're sent to a world, those coordinates are locked in. My parents weren't lords. They were ordinary cultivators who got recruited by some arrogant lord to help conquer a cultivation world. That lord got too cocky, picked a fight with an ancient monster, and got himself killed. Every cultivator he'd recruited, including my parents, was slaughtered. So yeah, being a lord means huge resources, but also huge danger. Plenty of lords have died over the past 3,000 years. Even in ordinary worlds, a chi refining cultivator can get killed by the locals if they're careless. The lord token itself doesn't make you powerful. It has a few basic functions. It teleports you to your assigned world, lets you return home, gives you access to a marketplace where lords can trade goods at fair prices, and it awakens a random lord talent after your first teleport. There's also a crafting function. You can spend resources to transform items into special rule-based creations with unique properties, but that's expensive. And finally, based on how much territory you control and how prosperous your domain is, you earn lord points. Those points unlock special purchases and power the crafting function. Territory has to be claimed by yourself. In a cultivation world with vast lands, you just find an unclaimed spot. Even a 1,000-meter radius counts as a starting territory. Losing your territory comes with penalties, and reclaiming new land costs resources. They say conquering an entire world gives incredible rewards, but I have no idea what exactly. Conquering a cultivation world is nearly impossible anyway. An ordinary world is easier. Just hire some cultivators and steamroll it, but then you'd have to share most of the rewards. You can also upgrade an ordinary world into a 1-star world, but the resources needed for that are way beyond what a normal lord can afford. This is the era of universal cultivation. Everyone gets a free artificial spirit root if they don't have a natural one. But becoming a lord and exploring other worlds? That's life or death. The higher the world's rank, the easier it is to get killed. Still, countless people become lords anyway. Once a lord appears in a world, no other lord gets sent there for 100 years. So every lord gets a century-long head start to develop. Whether you make it or not depends entirely on you. I pulled my thoughts together and checked my lord panel. That's a display the token creates for its owner. My stats showed up. Ninggu, low-grade artificial fire spirit root. Chi refining level 3, practicing the red flame art. My techniques were mostly farming stuff. Hoeing technique at mastery, spirit rain at minor success. Plus some combat skills like small fireball at mastery and fire finger at minor success. Then I looked at my talent, myriad worlds pool. No grade listed. That was weird. Talents always have a grade. I focused on it and got more details. Turns out, myriad worlds pool is an ungraded talent because its rank grows with my cultivation. At my current level, it can randomly produce items of 2nd tier or below from across all worlds. Each use costs 100 low-grade spirit stones, and there's no usage limit. A growable talent. I almost screamed with joy. But there was more. I noticed a tag called Myriad Worlds Favor. I focused on that too. It said I'm the only person in existence with this talent, and as a bonus, everything I get from the pool comes in pairs, double the output. I could barely contain myself. I've heard of lords who awakened talents that doubled or even multiplied their resource gains by 10 or 100 times. Those lords shot to the top fast. My talent might not be worse than theirs. The problem? I didn't have a single spirit stone to use it. Not even once. Can't cook without ingredients. I decided to claim territory first so I could unlock the Lord Marketplace. Looking around, this wilderness near the lake seemed unclaimed, so I ordered my token to claim a 1,000-meter radius. In a cultivation world, anywhere with people already belongs to someone powerful. I'm just a chi refining weakling. Picking a fight over territory would be suicide. The claim went through. The marketplace opened up, and I started browsing. There were categories for treasures, techniques, beast companions, weapons, daily supplies, cultivation boosters, and more. I went straight to the cultivation section. A lord called Pill Immortal Lord was selling incredible stuff. Cultivation pills that could raise 1 full level with no side effects. 500 spirit stones each for the lowest tier, 3,000 for a barrier-breaking pill, and it went up from there. The top-tier pills cost millions, even hundreds of millions. That explained how rich kids back in high school had such fast cultivation progress. Their lord parents just bought these pills and let their children gobble them down. Even a pig could reach chi refining level 9 before graduation with enough pills. I couldn't afford a single one. There was also a seller called Pill Dao Elementary Student, offering cheaper alternatives, condensing chi pills at 5 spirit stones each that give 1% cultivation progress. You'd need 100 pills, 500 spirit stones total, to gain 1 level. Not as elegant as the pill immortal stuff, but still effective, and the quality was solid with no pill toxins. Further down, I even spotted immortal grade pills, but those cost astronomical amounts in a currency called immortal stones. Way beyond my reach. Spirit root upgrades were available too, controlled exclusively by the 36 elders. Every lord could buy each grade once. The prices were completely out of my range. And spirit root quality really matters. A low-grade root versus a mid-grade root means a real difference in power at the same cultivation level. Maybe it's not obvious during chi refining, but the gap only grows wider as you advance. Everything I wanted was right there in front of me, and I couldn't buy any of it. Story of my life. After browsing the marketplace for a while, I calmed myself down. All those amazing items would be mine someday. For now, I needed to find the newbie gift pack. Here's the backstory on that. Years ago, too many new lords were getting themselves killed by being reckless after arriving in new worlds. The leadership noticed the high death rate and decided to add a starter package to the marketplace. Just 1 spirit stone, available only within the first 3 days of arriving. I bought it immediately. Only a fool would skip this. I got a level 1 cave dwelling card. It's a special sealed item developed by the Yanhuang race using Lord Token technology. It contains a small dwelling you can materialize in the real world, with 4 design options: a courtyard, a villa, a 3-story retro building, or a traditional cave dwelling. I picked the 3-story retro building. I walked about 200 meters along the lake, found a clearing within my territory, and activated the card. A flash of light later, my new home stood there. About 300 square meters total, with a bedroom, cultivation room, alchemy room, and kitchen. Best of all, the whole building came with top-grade first-tier defensive and attack formations. As long as nobody at foundation building level attacks, I'm safe against any chi refining cultivator. The formations had enough energy for 1 month of operation. After that, it costs 108 spirit stones per month to maintain. Everything inside was completely empty though, not even a bed or a meditation cushion. I'd have to furnish it myself. I refined the formation core right away and took full control. Only then did I finally feel safe. The whole point of this starter dwelling is to teach new lords to play it safe. Don't be arrogant. Start small, do some minor trading at the chi refining level, use marketplace resources, and slowly build up. Most new lords don't have high cultivation or much money anyway. Of course, second-generation lords, kids of established lords, have it completely different. Their parents spend lord points to bring in powerful cultivators who steamroll the whole world. No struggling phase, just straight to governing and developing. That's not me. I'm grateful for what I got. That top-grade formation alone would have cost me more than 5 years of farming spirit herbs. Getting it for 1 spirit stone was basically free. Now I needed to figure out how to earn spirit stones. Everything depends on that. Raising my cultivation, buying pills, maybe even using my myriad worlds pool talent. I calculated that with enough stones, I could push all the way to chi refining level 9, then buy a foundation building pill to break through. If possible, I'd even try for levels 10, 11, or 12 beyond that. I briefly considered taking a loan. As a new lord with a low-quality token, I qualified for 1,000 spirit stone loan. But there was a catch. Applying requires uploading your lord information, including your talent. I absolutely cannot expose my talent. Not ever. There are lords on Yanhuang Star who have fallen to darkness. They're called Abyss Lords, and they use evil methods to steal other lords' talents. A genius with 100-fold critical hit talent was once hunted down and killed by these Abyss Lords, his talent ripped away. That incident shocked our entire race and revealed the Abyss Lord's existence to the public. With my weak cultivation, if my talent got exposed, I'd be a dead man. Hiding in my lord world wouldn't even save me. Certain special treasures can cross between worlds. As long as the talent is worth it, they'd come for me. I even considered reporting to the Elder Council. My talent would definitely earn me priority cultivation resources. But I'd read forum analyses about that fallen genius, and some theories pointed to a mole among the high-ranking leadership, someone working with the Abyss Lords from the inside. Whether that's true or not, I refuse to gamble with my life. When you're at your weakest, you have to keep control of your own fate. Pinning your hopes on others is never the answer. After buying the gift pack, I had 15 spirit stones left, not even enough for one use of my Myriad Worlds pool. I had some ideas about how to use it, but now wasn't the time. Develop quietly. Don't attract attention, especially in a one-star world where powerful cultivators exist. With 15 spirit stones in my pocket, I browsed the marketplace for anything affordable. There was actually a decent selection, but I didn't know local prices in this world yet. I needed information first. The fisherman by the lake was my best bet. Same age, same cultivation level, seemed approachable enough. I could ask him about local prices for pills and herbs, see if there was any profit margin to work with. But then I realized, why not just fish myself? This huge lake clearly had plenty of spirit fish. The marketplace sold fishing bait, 3 portions for 3 spirit stones, from a seller called Myriad Worlds Fishing Guy. 1 spirit stone per cast. If I caught a fish worth 10 stones, that's a solid profit. I'd actually tried fishing back on Star. Bought the same bait, cast over a dozen times, caught nothing. Too many people, too few fish in that river. But I still had my mid-grade fishing rod in my storage bag. I bought the bait, grabbed my rod, a spirit net, and a folding chair, and headed to the lakeside. So much for being a bold lord conquering new territories. Here I was on day 1, sitting by a lake with a fishing pole. The first cast didn't take long. My rod dipped, and I pulled up a green jade fish, a pretty spirit fish with jade green scales, worth 13 to 15 spirit stones. Better than average. I immediately listed it on the Lord Marketplace. The system suggested 14 spirit stones. I set my seller name as I am Mud Bro, didn't feel like thinking of anything clever, and confirmed the listing. It sold instantly. 14 stones, just like that. During the first 100 years as a new lord, there are no transaction fees either, so I kept every stone. Someone out there was clearly buying up everything. Rich lords who don't care about a stone or two. My next 2 casts both landed fish, 2 white scale fish at 10 and 11 stones each. I added 2 extra stones to each price, and they still sold immediately. 39 spirit stones in 1 round. I couldn't believe how easy this was. This lake was completely untouched. No overfishing, no competition. The abundance of regular spirit fish also confirmed the dragon fish were probably real. I bought 3 more portions of bait. This round I caught 2 fish, but lost a big one that nearly dragged me into the water. Spirit fish have real combat power in the water. They're only helpless on land. Still, I earned another 24 stones. My total climbed to 60 stones in the marketplace, plus 12 on hand. I was marching toward 100. I'd never imagined earning spirit stones could be this simple. The forums were right. The Lord token really is a key to wealth. And those veteran lords who said small trading wasn't worth it anymore? Liars. 1 or 2 stones per fish adds up fast. Those old-timers had gotten too rich to notice small money. Some of them pushed new lords toward war and resource plundering instead of business. Maybe they had their own reasons for that advice. My fishing was causing a stir. By San, the fisherman 200 meters down the lake, couldn't help but notice. In less than half an hour, I'd pulled up 5 spirit fish while he'd caught only 3 in an entire month. No way he wouldn't come looking. Sure enough, he showed up. He pointed at the golden bait in my hand and said he wanted to buy some. I'd been thinking about selling bait already, but now that I'd seen how incredibly effective it was in this lake, these fish had clearly never encountered proper spirit bait before. I wasn't sure I wanted to share. Still, there was money to be made here. I told him the price, 5 spirit stones per bait. That's 5 times what I paid. His eyes went wide. 5 stones for 1 piece of bait was a big risk if it didn't work. But he'd watched me pull fish after fish from the water, so the evidence was hard to argue with. He tried to haggle. I didn't budge. I laid it out plainly. 6 baits, 5 fish caught. 1 lost only because my cultivation was too weak to hold it. The bait works. Period. Then I added my real condition. If he buys my bait, he has to sell every fish he catches to me at 1 spirit stone below market price. If he sells to anyone else, no more bait. Ever. He countered, 1 stone discount instead of 2. I pretended to struggle with the decision, then agreed. He was my first customer, after all. 5 spirit stones changed hands. He rushed back to his spot, carefully hooked the bait, and cast his line. It didn't take long. His rod bent with the unmistakable weight of a spirit fish. He pulled up a green bamboo carp, and that's not just any spirit fish. It's the kind closest to becoming a dragonfish. If it ever awakens, it evolves into a mid-grade dragonfish. Because of that potential, it's worth around 25 spirit stones, way more than a regular catch. He grabbed the fish and headed straight toward me. He wanted to see if I'd actually buy it and whether my price would be fair. Shursan came over holding a green bamboo carp, over a meter long, and asked if I'd buy it. I knew about these fish. Some lords with beast-raising talents can activate their bloodline and evolve them into dragonfish. I once saw a video of a rich lord obsessively collecting green bamboo carp, evolving them like opening blind boxes, burning through spirit stones like crazy. He actually produced a stunning rare dragonfish that someone offered 1,000,000 stones for and got refused. But for most people, without that special talent, a green bamboo carp is just a fancier spirit fish. I asked Shursan what he thought the price should be. He broke it down honestly. Market price in town is 25 stones, -1 for our agreement, -2 more for the entry fee and stall rental he'd normally pay. Total, 22 stones. Then I called him out. Earlier, he'd tried selling me regular spirit fish at inflated prices without mentioning those costs. He didn't even flinch, admitted it straight up. Said back then we were strangers, so that was fair game. Now he needed my bait, so lying would ruin a good business relationship. He said he could tell the difference between short-term profit and long-term partnership. I respected that. I checked the Lord Marketplace quietly. A green bamboo carp sells for 45 stones there, with other lords listing them around 50. Massive profit margin. I told him I'd pay 24 stones, skipping the town fee deduction. No need to squeeze him over 2 stones when he'd been straight with me. He took 4 bait portions and 4 spirit stones as payment. I used the chance to advertise. Pointed at my 3-story building and told him I sell more than just bait. Pills, talismans, spirit herbs, whatever he needs at chi refining level. Fair prices come anytime. The whole time, part of my mind stayed on the Lord Token's return button. If anything went wrong, I'd teleport home instantly. That's not being a coward, that's survival. Until I can overwhelm someone in a fight, I'll always keep my guard up during trades. Shursan stared at me with this weird look on his face, like he was trying to figure me out. I could tell his mind was spinning. A stranger setting up shop in the middle of nowhere, pulling spirit fish from thin air, living in a building that appeared out of nothing. He probably thought I was some rich family's illegitimate son, cast out for having bad cultivation talent, trying to prove myself by building a business from scratch. Let him think whatever he wants. As long as he keeps buying bait and selling me fish, I'm happy. He finally introduced himself properly. I'm Shursan. Pleasure to meet you, fellow Taoist Ninggu. Shursan. I almost couldn't keep a straight face saying his name. Fellow Taoist and fellow Taoist 13. Honestly, what were his parents thinking? At least my mom and dad put some thought into mine. He asked if I really sold pills. I told him anything at the chi refining level. Just name it. I've got it. That wasn't a lie either. The Lord Marketplace has everything. The special no side effect pills are limited per buyer, but ordinary cultivation pills from various worlds have no purchase limits. Plenty of lords are just middlemen, buying low in one world and selling high in another, while telling new lords not to do the same thing. Hypocrites. Shursan asked about a barrier-breaking pill. He'd been stuck at the peak of chi refining level 3 for a while. I searched the marketplace. Cheapest one was 720 stones for basic quality. The local market price here was about 800. I told him 800, same as town. I wasn't going to mark it up. This wasn't an exclusive product, and overcharging would just send him to the market instead. I'd still make 80 stones profit on the deal. He couldn't afford it yet though. Neither of us was surprised by that. Back on Yinhuang Star, I only saved 400 stones a year as a spirit farmer. Life at the bottom is hard everywhere. For now, I'd stick to chi refining level business. No touching foundation building resources. Slow and steady. I'd rather earn less than put myself in danger. After Shursan left to keep fishing, I listed the green bamboo carp on the marketplace at 50 stones. Sold instantly. I loaded my remaining stones into the system, 117 total. Past 100 at last. I kept fishing. By nightfall, my stones had climbed past 1,500. Between the two of us, we'd pulled in over 100 spirit fish. Shursan even caught 3 low-grade dragonfish, and I got 2. The earnings were incredible, but we went from excited to numb. These fish just couldn't resist the spirit bait. They practically lined up to bite. It was time to upgrade. I bought the cheapest fishing god device from the marketplace, 1,000 stones. It's basically a square cage designed to catch spirit fish. Not a magical artifact exactly. More like a mix of technology and cultivation. You throw it in the water, and it makes spirit fish in the area swim into the cage on their own. Once it hits capacity, 10 fish for the basic model, it stops catching. Totally hands-free. Higher models are fully automatic and run non-stop, but those cost over 10,000 stones. Way out of my budget. I tossed the cage into the lake and called it a day. With how rich this lake's resources were, it should have a great haul by morning. I was starving, so I grilled up a spirit fish and invited Bai Shursen over. He didn't refuse, partly because the fish smelled amazing and partly because he was sick of eating tasteless fasting pills. I don't eat spirit fish often myself, but today felt worth celebrating. My first day as a lord, and I'd already earned over 1,000 stones. Not bad for a guy who used to scrape by growing herbs. Good food, fellow Taoist Ning Ge. Bai Shursen complimented my cooking, but honestly the spirit fish just tastes great on its own. I only added some seasoning. The real reason I invited him to eat was information. I needed to understand this area. I asked about the forces controlling the region around the lake, and why nobody had claimed such a resource-rich spot. His answer shocked me. Fallen Dragon Lake is absolutely enormous, bigger than most mortal nations. The real resources are all in the center, where over 1,000 islands sit. The central giant island hosts 3 nascent soul-level powers. Other islands belong to Golden Core or foundation-building factions. The further from the center, the weaker the forces. Even the outermost islands belong to Chi refining-level clans. We're sitting at the very edge. Thin spiritual energy, few fish, completely ignored by everyone. That's why nobody bothered claiming it. The spirit bait just made it seem rich. Normally a fisherman might catch a few fish per month here. Nascent soul cultivators meant this was at least a 2-star world, possibly more. This was bigger than I'd expected. The nearby marketplace is called Heavenly Capital Mountain Market, built on a spirit mountain between the lake and the mainland. 2 foundation building families run it, and it has a decent reputation. Cultivators from surrounding areas and outer island factions all trade there. Bai Shursen suggested I move my shop there if I wanted customers. He gave me this look toward my building, clearly thinking I was crazy for setting up in the middle of nowhere. I told him everything happens by fate. He seemed to accept that, probably filed it under rich kid logic. He asked where I came from. I just said, very far away. He tried guessing. Past the 10,000 Demon Mountain range? From the outer regions? He settled on outer regions and seemed satisfied, probably assuming I had a powerful family backing me with secret bodyguards. Good. Let him think that. Then he gave me a full rundown of the local power structure. Beyond the lake sits a force called the Great Qian Immortal Dynasty, supposedly led by a spirit transformation ancestor. They control a third of something called the Heavenly Wasteland region. The remaining 2/3 are split among 5 nascent soul-level powers. The Limitless Sword Sect, 10,000 Demon Range, Lean Mountain Immortal Sect, 10,000 Buddha Temple, and Fallen Dragon Lake itself. Below them are countless smaller factions and mortal kingdoms. Heavenly Capital Mountain Market sits in the transition zone between the Lake Territory and the Great Qian Dynasty's Shangyang County. We talked for over an hour and ate 3 spirit fish. Felt a bit extravagant, but I was in a good mood. You have to enjoy life when you can. After Bai Shursen left, I noticed his camp was actually right next to mine, hidden behind some tall grass. I sensed a faint formation activate when he entered, low quality, from what I could tell. I checked the fishing device controller. 5 of 10 indicator lights were lit, 5 spirit fish already caught. I pulled them out and tossed the cage back in. The efficiency was impressive. Back inside my building with the defensive formation running, I felt secure. Nobody gets in without my permission. I disappeared from the first floor. Time to head back to Yanhuang Star. Back on Yanhuang Star, I looked at my familiar little house and let out a breath. What a day, encountering a local cultivator, awakening my talent, discovering spirit fish, starting a business. More excitement in one day than my entire 20-something years of life. I'd already canceled my spirit field rental. No more waking up before dawn to tend herbs. That life was over. I checked my spirit device, basically a phone, but redesigned after the spiritual energy revival knocked out all the old technology. Mine was the cheapest model, practically an antique. High-end ones can teleport items and bypass formations. Mine loses signal near any decent array. The time flow between worlds was nearly identical. 12 hours there, 12 hours here. That's actually great. Some lords end up in worlds where time moves much faster, and they can't risk coming home because their territory might get taken while they're gone. I had messages waiting. One from Zhuge Yuan, my best friend from high school. He was asking about my new world and offering to send foundation-building cultivators to help me conquer it. Before I could reply, he called. "Congratulations, Lord Ning." He launched into a speech about steamrolling my world, offering resources, telling me to toughen up. Same old Zhuge Yuan, generous to a fault. He offered to lend me 35,000 spirit stones to push my cultivation to Qi refining level 9. He even anticipated my refusal. "Don't turn me down this time. You're a lord now. You landed in a 1-star world. You'll earn it back fast." I only told him it was a 1-star world. Until I fully understood how powerful that world really was. I'd keep the details to myself, even from him. Normally I would have refused. I always did before. He tried giving me a lord token once, tried lending me stones multiple times. I turned him down every time because I didn't want money to ruin our friendship. Growing up as an orphan made me sensitive about that kind of thing. But this time was different. My world had nascent soul cultivators. It was at least 2-star, maybe 3-star. Higher cultivation meant more opportunities and more safety. My talent was incredible. The lake was loaded with resources. For the first time, I was confident I could pay him back. "Thanks, Zhuge Yuan." That's more like it. He was genuinely happy. He'd always believed I'd turn things around eventually. He warned me to stay low-key in a 1-star world and reminded me he had real influence in the Zhuge family now. Then he started rambling about his own world, said it might be a multiverse, something beyond imagination. "Just hold on to my leg, little Ning, and you'll be fine," he joked. "Which leg?" "I'm not grabbing the wrong one," I shot back. Then he went off about some celestial beauty rankings in his world and his grand plans for building an immortal dynasty with a harem. Classic Zhuge Yuan. We talked about our old high school class president too. Apparently she's now the pride of Yanhuang University, the top institution for cultivators. Only absolute geniuses get in, and the university gives them high-quality lord tokens. The program has 4 stages, 10 years each. She's still in stage 1, 5 years after we graduated. There were also rules about age. You can't become a lord before adulthood anymore. Back in the early days, anyone could, but too many young lords got corrupted by the harsh realities of other worlds and became abyss lords. Their worldview wasn't fully formed yet, and the brutal survival laws twisted them into monsters. We chatted for a long time. Zhuge Yuan always had endless stories and information. Some of what he told me was genuinely jaw-dropping. Having a friend like him, it means more than I can say. After we hung up, Zhuge Yuan's transfer came through instantly. No hesitation. That's just who he is. I couldn't load the stones directly into my Lord Marketplace account from my Yanhuang Star bank account. The systems aren't connected. So I ordered a delivery. Half an hour later, someone showed up with the physical spirit stones. The delivery guy seemed puzzled why someone with this kind of money lived in such a basic house, but he kept it professional. I loaded everything into the Lord Marketplace. It's actually the safest place to store wealth. Nobody can touch it, and I can withdraw anytime. Without hesitating, I bought a first-tier barrier-breaking pill from the Pill Immortal Lord. 3,000 spirit stones. When I opened the jade bottle, the pill inside was incredible. Perfectly round with a self-protective film glowing on its surface. 9 clear pill patterns marked its surface. A 9-pattern pill. That's the highest quality before crossing into an entirely different category of medicine. No pill toxins, maximum effectiveness. The Pill Immortal Lord is something else. Even his lowest grade pills are 9-pattern quality. Some forum theories say his lord talent lets him duplicate pills, make one, copy it infinitely. If that's true, no wonder he's the richest lord alive. I headed to a cultivation room run by the Alliance. 150 spirit stones for 3 hours. Painfully expensive, but the dense spiritual energy inside was worth it. The moment the formations activated, rich energy flooded out from the walls. My body felt so comfortable I almost wanted to stay forever, until I remembered the bill. I adjusted myself to peak condition, swallowed the pill, and began cultivating. The pill dissolved into a massive wave of warm energy that flowed through my meridians. I guided it to my dantian, and within just a few breaths, the barrier between early and mid-chi refining shattered like it was nothing. My spiritual power surged. Chi refining level 4, just like that. I couldn't believe how easy it was. Breaking from level 2 to 3 back in high school had been agonizing, and that didn't even have a barrier. This 9-pattern pill made it feel effortless. Even a pig could break through with medicine this good. After the breakthrough, ambient spiritual energy rushed into my body like water through a broken dam. My power multiplied several times over. Mid-stage chi refining is a completely different league from early stage. The thickness of spiritual power isn't comparable. 3 hours passed in a flash. When I opened my eyes, my realm was completely stable. No aftereffects, no meridian damage, no recovery period needed. Ordinary barrier-breaking pills can fail, injure your channels, or leave you needing weeks to stabilize. This was nothing like that. I sent Zhuge Yuan a message. Thanks for the stones. Level 4 achieved. See you at the top. He was offline, probably in his Lord world. Spirit devices can't communicate across worlds yet. The Alliance has been working on cross-world communication technology for ages without success. If they ever crack it, it would change everything for Lords. Right now, Lord tokens have no messaging function, which everyone complains about. If Lords could call for backup across worlds, exploration would be much safer. Spirit devices could theoretically be sold in other cultivation worlds, since those worlds still rely on jade talismans for messaging, slow, delayed, interceptable. Some Lords tried selling devices early on, but the Alliance quickly locked it down. 1 device per person now. If you want to sell them in your Lord world, you pay the Alliance a massive licensing fee, and they'll supply you with production and technical documents. The fee is astronomical though, and you'd need serious power in your world to pull it off without the local cultivators causing problems. Way beyond my current situation. For now, I was just happy being level 4. After breaking through to level 4, I decided to let my cultivation settle for a few days before taking more pills. I went home and actually slept, like real sleep, not cultivation. It had been a long time. Felt amazing. Next morning, I headed back to my Lord world. The fishing device controller showed all 10 lights on, full catch. But before I could collect it, Bai Shursan was already waiting outside my door, staring at it like a puppy. He wanted 20 baits. Handed me 100 spirit stones without blinking. I went inside, bought 21 portions from the marketplace, gave him 20, and kept 1 for myself. He grabbed them and bolted before I could even show him the fishing device. I'd been planning to sell him 1 at double the price, but the guy probably couldn't afford it yet anyway. I collected the fish from the device, 132 stones worth, and reset it in the lake. Then came the moment I'd been waiting for. Time to test my Myriad Worlds pool talent. I materialized the pool inside my building. No dramatic effects, no glowing lights, no heavenly phenomena. Just a 3-meter circular pool flush with the floor, filled with water so clear I could see my own reflection. Underwhelming, to say the least. I washed my hands at the lake for luck, came back, and tossed in 100 spirit stones. The stones sank without a sound. 2 glowing orbs floated up. A message appeared in my mind. Obtained, Ordinary Stone X1. Myriad Worlds Favor activated. Final result, Ordinary Stone X2. 2 rocks. I spent 100 spirit stones on 2 rocks. I refused to accept this. Another 100 stones in. Obtained, Ordinary Grass X2. 2 weeds. The system didn't even bother mentioning the doubling effect this time. There I stood, rocks in one hand, grass in the other, wanting to cry. 200 stones for absolute garbage. One more time. Last time, I went outside and washed my face this time, figuring hands weren't enough. Came back muttering prayers and threw in another 100 stones. Obtained. First tier low-grade condensing chi pill X2. 2 pills. Not 2 bottles, 2 individual pills. Ordinary quality. And I was already at level 4. So these low-grade pills were basically useless. I could buy 50 of them for 100 stones on the marketplace. 300 spirit stones gone. Total return. 2 rocks, 2 weeds, and 2 worthless pills. This talent was a gambling trap. Maybe it would improve after my cultivation went up and the pool leveled up. But right now? Complete scam. I fought the urge to throw in more stones. The temptation was real, just one more try, maybe this time, but I shut it down. I couldn't waste Zhuge Yuan's loan on this. Instead, I checked the marketplace for a better fishing device. Found a fully automatic model for 12,000 stones. This one looked like a giant fish, could hold 50 spirit fish, covered a kilometer radius, automatically identified and prioritized high-value catches, and returned on its own when full. A massive upgrade from my basic cage. Fishing was boring, but at least it actually made money, unlike my so-called talent. I gritted my teeth and bought the fully automatic fishing device for 12,000 stones. The thing was 3 meters tall and 5 meters long, shaped like a real fish. After reading the instructions and binding it to myself, I discovered the interior space was actually bigger than it looked, made from some material called voidstone scraps that slightly expand space. When I activated it, 4 legs grew from its belly and it walked itself into the lake. Bai Shisan saw it from his spot and stared in shock, but to his credit, he didn't come asking questions. He's good about minding his own business. I set it to return to my building automatically once full. At minimum, each haul of 50 fish would bring in over 500 stones. If it caught some dragonfish, that number could hit thousands. The device would pay for itself quickly. With that handled, I decided to stop waiting and just take the cultivation pills. My talent was garbage anyway. What was I settling for? I spent 4,000 stones on 2 mid-grade cultivation pills and broke through right there in my building. 2 hours later, I was at Qi refining level 6. The speed was insane. 2 days ago, I was level 3. Now level 6. I finally understood how my rich classmates in high school jumped a level every day. With enough spirit stones, cultivation isn't even a challenge. The cultivation pills were ridiculously powerful. Each one didn't just push you into the next level. It filled the entire level's worth of cultivation and pushed you to the peak. 2 pills took me from level 4 all the way to the peak of level 6, and they completely ignored talent limitations. Normally, with my terrible spirit root, I'd absorb maybe 10 to 20% of a pill's energy, plus deal with toxin buildup. These pills just directly added cultivation. No waste, no toxins. Of course, my combat power at level 6 was still rock bottom compared to anyone else at the same level. Bad spirit root means weak spiritual power quality. But I wasn't planning to fight fair. I'd rather have a higher level and bully people below me. That's the whole point of cultivating. I didn't bother learning mid-grade techniques since I'd be hitting late-stage Qi refining soon. I'd go straight to top-grade or supreme-grade techniques then. The Lord Marketplace had an ocean of techniques accumulated from thousands of worlds over millennia, and they weren't expensive for personal use. There were 2 purchase modes, single person, which was cheap, and inheritance mode, which let you teach it in your Lord world but cost far more. The marketplace had no restrictions on what you could buy for yourself. Even immortal level techniques were available if you could pay. But using those techniques in a cultivation world required caution. The local powers guard their legacies fiercely. If they noticed someone spreading high-level techniques, they'd crush them without hesitation. These ancient sects had survived for ages precisely because they eliminated threats to their monopoly on power. Even their own subordinate factions would be quietly destroyed if they got out of line. Low profile. Always low profile. I'd been thinking about the foundation building pill business. In many cultivation worlds, those pills are controlled by major powers who release them in batches to keep smaller factions dependent and harvest their spirit stones. But some worlds have them in abundance, cheap as cabbage. If this world situation was right, I could buy them from the marketplace for around 30,000 stones each and sell them to local Qi refining clans. Even a clan's patriarch at Qi refining level 9 would empty his entire treasury for a foundation building pill with a 30% success rate. But all that required me being strong enough to not get robbed. A level 6 cultivator showing up with foundation building pills? That's just delivering treasure with a bow on top. I also spotted something amazing in the marketplace. A special formation that temporarily boosts a lord's cultivation by 1 full realm within a limited area. 20,000 stones, 1 per lord. At my level, it would give me foundation building level 6 strength inside the formation's range. Higher-end versions could push you to golden core or even nascent soul temporarily. Incredible safety net, but way too expensive for now. Then the fishing device walked back into my building on its 4 little legs. Scared me half to death. It had only been 2 hours. I thought it was broken. But no, its storage was completely full. 50 spirit fish, including 8 mid-grade ones with 2 mid-grade dragon fish, plus 7 low-grade dragon fish among the rest. I listed everything on the marketplace. 2,123 stones. The 2 mid-grade dragon fish alone were worth over 1,000. At this rate, the device would pay for itself in a day or two. I decided to wait instead of going back to Yenwang Star. Sure enough, 2 hours later it came back again, another 1,500 stones worth. I bought a massive crystal water tank for a few stones and set it up on the first floor, taking up a third of the space. The tank was designed for spirit fish, strong enough that they couldn't break it. With my building's formation running constantly, only I and the fishing device could get in. I started dreaming big. More fishing devices, scaling up production. The entire Fallen Dragon Lake could become my fish farming operation. Yenwang Star has so many lords that any amount of spirit fish would get snapped up instantly. Then I caught myself. Fish farming tycoon. To other lords, that just makes me a fish seller. No, I needed to diversify. Fish could be one business, but I'd build a comprehensive cultivation industry empire. Multiple revenue streams. That was the real goal. But first, stay low, keep developing, don't get cocky. Outside my building, Shounen was standing there with a net full of spirit fish, looking completely bewildered. He'd just watched my fishing device, a giant fish walking on 4 legs, stroll out of my shop and into the lake. To his credit, he didn't ask a single question about it. Either he had great self-control or he genuinely thought it was some kind of fish puppet. Either way, I appreciated the discretion. He sold me his catch, 113 stones worth, and bought 10 more baits. The fishing was slower for him today since my device was competing for the same fish, but it was still far better than his old results. Back on Yenwang Star, I rented another cultivation room and broke through to level 7. No drama, no complications. Just pop a pill, cultivate, done. Over the next few days, the fishing device kept delivering full loads. I earned back every stone I'd spent on it. Then I bought 2 top-grade cultivation pills for 20,000 stones and pushed straight to the peak of Chi refining level 9. At my age, level 9 would make me a genius in most cultivation worlds. If I broke through to foundation building, I'd be called a monstrous prodigy. But I knew the truth. Without those pills, reaching level 9 would have taken me decades. I started thinking about what comes after level 9. In cultivation theory, most people stop at 9. That's the ceiling for anyone below supreme grade spirit roots. Levels 10 through 13 exist, but require increasingly rare talent. Level 10 needs extreme luck even with top spirit roots. Level 11 requires earth grade roots. Level 12 needs heaven grade roots. Only the legendary immortal spirit root can reach level 13, where a chi refining cultivator can actually crush foundation building fighters. Spirit root grades go low, mid, upper, supreme, earth, heaven, and immortal. But Yenwang Star researchers don't accept these limits as absolute. They believe if a barrier exists, there's always a solution. And the pill Immortal Lord proved it. His barrier-breaking pills can push someone all the way to level 12 regardless of talent. The Research Institute probably helped develop them. The cost, though, reaching level 12 would take 111 million spirit stones total. Most foundation building or even golden core clans couldn't scrape that together. Interestingly, there was nothing in the marketplace for breaking through to level 13. Even the pill Immortal Lord and his team apparently couldn't solve that one. Right now I was earning close to 10,000 stones daily from fishing. The device went out every 2 hours and brought back 1 to 2,000 stones each trip, 6 trips a day. And this was just the lake's outer edge. Deeper in, the resources would be even richer. Higher grade fish worth far more per catch. With better equipment later, I could even catch second-tier spirit fish, which are in a completely different price range. Given enough time, even 100 million stones was achievable. But I wasn't rushing anything. For now, I'd stay hidden at the lake's edge, by some proper combat techniques, and train until my actual fighting ability matched my level 9 cultivation. No point having high cultivation if I couldn't defend myself. Some people might think my lord life is boring. No adventures, no fighting, just fishing and selling. But watching my balance grow every day, that's deeply satisfying. I spent my free time practicing fire techniques and planning my future shop layout. Shounen had become my loyal customer. He didn't need to visit the town market anymore since I could supply everything he needed at fair prices. He'd even built a house near his fishing spot, which technically made him the first resident of my territory. My lord points went up by 1. I checked my panel. Chi refining level 9, red flame art at the 9th layer, a couple new techniques like fire dragon art, and exploding flame at beginner level. Progress. Then I looked at Baishur-san's house and nearly lost it. Blackwood walls. A crooked red roof. No windows. The door didn't even close properly. The whole thing was shaped like a rectangle, like a coffin. I couldn't let this exist in my territory. I marched over and knocked on his door. Fellow Taoist Bai, what do you think life is really about? I asked him. He stared at me like I'd lost my mind. I could practically see his thoughts spiraling. He was wondering if I had weird intentions. When I grabbed his arm to pull him outside, he actually closed his eyes like he was bracing for something terrible. Why are you closing your eyes? Look around, I said. He opened his eyes, realized I was talking about scenery and architecture, and visibly relaxed, though I caught a flash of embarrassment on his face. Look at this beautiful lake, these trees, and then look at your house. Does it match? Doesn't it? He mumbled. It absolutely does not. This looks like something built for ghosts. You know what a cultivator's greatest tragedy is? Dying with unspent spirit stones. Are you planning to bury your savings in your grave so some lucky treasure hunter can rob your tomb? He was completely lost. I don't have that many stones to bury. Then why are you living in this coffin? I said it straight. His eyebrow twitched. He actually thought his house looked fine. I pulled out a level 1 courtyard card, bought from the Lord Marketplace for 2,000 stones. It came with mid-grade defensive and attack formations. A proper, beautiful living space. This is what you need. First customer price, for 1,000 spirit stones. Set it up today and live like a real cultivator. Because right now, even a dog wouldn't live in your house. He went quiet. Then, it's a great product, but I only have about 1,000 stones. He was also amazed by the card technology. Sealing an entire dwelling into a card was something he'd never seen before. I could tell it made him even more convinced I came from some powerful background, which was fine by me. Let him think whatever he wants, as long as he eventually buys the house. Don't worry about the cost, I told Baishur-san. I've got a brand new buy now pay later plan. I pulled out a contract, 3,000 stones loan for a level 1 courtyard card. He looked it over. Clean terms, no hidden conditions. But he hesitated. Said he was at the age where he should be working hard, not enjoying luxury. Said his house was fine. I looked at that blackwood coffin he called a home. No windows, crooked roof, door that wouldn't shut. I couldn't take it anymore. I blasted it with my spiritual energy, demolished it on the spot. Then I tossed the courtyard card onto the empty ground. A flash of light later, a beautiful traditional courtyard stood in its place. I don't care what you think. I care what I think, I told him. The courtyard is already here. If you don't want it, I'll find someone who does. Oh, and the bait supply might become limited. I'll sign. I'll sign. He scrambled to put his name on the contract and handed me 1,000 stones up front. Smart man. He knew which side his bread was buttered on. Once he went inside, I could tell from his expression that all his complaints died instantly. The courtyard was nicer than anything in Heavenly Capital Mountain Market. 3,000 stones of debt. He'd earned that back with the bait business easily. I went back to my building feeling satisfied. My territory finally looked respectable. That night, after things quieted down, something happened that I didn't know about yet. 2 figures appeared in the darkness near my area, one fat, one thin. They were from a ruined sect, just the 2 of them left. The fat one, Chi Dong, carried an ancient treasure-seeking compass left behind by their sect ancestor. The thin one, Chi Chio, was his senior brother. They were searching for something called the Dragon Palace Ruins. According to their sect's old records, Fallen Dragon Lake used to be called Azure Dragon Lake, home to an actual Azure Dragon. The dragon had a palace somewhere beneath these waters, and their ancestors' compass was pointing them right to this area. Then they spotted my 3-story building with its glowing formations. And they saw my fishing device crawling out of the lake on 4 legs, walking straight into my building. They panicked. They thought someone had already discovered the ruins. The fishing device looked like some kind of fish puppet being used to explore the waters. My building with its formations looked like a cultivator's base of operations. They hid in the shadows, watching, trying to figure out if they'd been beaten to their treasure. Chidong wondered if someone from a rival sect An old enemy who might also know about the Azure Dragon Palace had set up camp here first. They had no idea I was just a fisherman selling spirit fish. The two strangers lurked outside my building that night. I didn't know it at the time, but by sure since spotted them first. He'd just moved into his new courtyard and wanted to buy some food and drinks to celebrate. When he stepped out, he saw two shadowy figures sneaking toward my building, one fat, one thin. He used some kind of stealth technique and crept up behind them. The fat one, Chi Dong, was convinced my building was some rival sex base, not a shop. He told his thin brother Chi Chio that if it turned out to be a store, he'd eat his words. Chi Chio helpfully translated that as, he'll eat board dong. Bai Shisan found this hilarious and knocked on my formation. I came out and saw the two brothers. They were quite the pair, one extremely fat, one extremely thin. On Yanhuang Star, you'd never see bodies like that since everyone cultivates, but in this world, apparently it happens. I confirmed that yes, this was indeed a shop. Chi Dong's face went red. His brother Chi Chio didn't seem concerned about the bet at all. Apparently their late master had taught him to respect his junior brother's dietary habits, and he'd been kindly giving Chi Dong opportunities to treat himself for years. These two were something else. Then Chi Chio asked if I really sold everything. I said of course, that's basic shopkeeping. Even if you don't have something, you say you do, then pivot to what you actually carry. That's not lying, that's business strategy. Do you have dragon meat? He asked. I almost choked. Dragon meat? Here? But I checked the Lord Marketplace anyway. True dragon meat was astronomically expensive, but Golden Core period flood dragon meat was about 30,000 stones per gene, roughly the same as a foundation building pill. I looked at these two. They were both Chi refining level 7. Definitely couldn't afford it. I have it, I said calmly. 60,000 stones per gene. Golden Core flood dragon meat, guaranteed fresh. I doubled the price because why not? This deal was never going to happen anyway. But I needed to project confidence. If these guys ever struck it rich, they might remember the shop that actually had dragon meat. Chi Chio's eyes lit up, then dimmed when he heard the price. Too expensive. We don't have that kind of money. Meanwhile, Chi Dong looked like he wanted to drown both his brother and me. His brother was asking about dragon meat while they were supposedly on a secret treasure hunting mission, and he kept saying, we, when talking about money, which clearly irritated Chi Dong to no end. Chi Dong didn't believe a word I said about the dragon meat. Fair enough, I was doubling the price anyway. But he started asking why I'd set up shop here, and I could tell he was probing for something. His eyes kept darting around like he was looking for clues. The scenery is nice, I said casually. He looked around at the dark, silent wilderness and clearly didn't agree. Bai Shisan cut in and asked to buy some spirit wine. I rattled off 3 popular options: Drunk Spring Breeze, Earth Core Volcano, and Cloud Sky Pattern, all 10 stones per jug. He picked Cloud Sky Pattern and added a pack of Heavenly Star snacks for 3 stones. 13 stones total for one evening's enjoyment. From his expression, I could tell he thought he was being extravagant. But hey, the man just moved into a new home. The brothers watched this exchange. Chi Chio, the thin one, turned to his junior brother with desperate eyes. They'd been living on fasting pills, which are basically tasteless nutrition tablets. Chi Dong finally gave in and ordered the same thing. I handed over the goods and collected the stones. Then I saw my opening. Do you two need a place to stay? It's the wilderness out here. You can't just sleep rough. I pulled out a level 1 courtyard card, this one with top-grade first-tier formations. Chi Dong internally screamed that I'd finally admitted this place was the middle of nowhere. In his mind, only evil cultivators would open shops in desolate locations. But I didn't seem threatening, so he was confused. He asked if I was renting out dwellings. That actually gave me an idea. I could set up rental properties around here. But with no foot traffic, selling made more sense for now. Chi Chio was immediately drawn to the card. Let's buy one, junior brother. No more sleeping outside. Chi Dong nearly exploded. He didn't trust any of it. How could a random Chi refining shopkeeper possess spatial ceiling technology? This had to be a scam. How much? He asked anyway. 6,000 spirit stones. His disbelief doubled. A treasure like this for only 6,000? That made it even more suspicious in his eyes. But I could see the conflict on his face, suspicion fighting against the fact that his brother really wanted a proper home. Meanwhile, Bai Shisan watched from the side with an amused expression, probably thinking I was about to strong-arm another customer. The two brothers left without buying the courtyard card. Qi pulled his senior brother away, clearly not trusting me or my products. I shrugged it off. You can't force a sale. Unlike by Shursan's situation, where I literally couldn't stand looking at his coffin house, these two weren't my problem. What I didn't know was that Qi spent the next several days secretly watching my building from the trees. He observed my routine, the fishing device going in and out of the lake every 2 hours, by Shursan selling me his catches, me rarely leaving my building. He was trying to figure out if I knew about something called the Dragon Palace Ruins. Apparently, this area of the lake used to be called Azure Dragon Lake, and there was supposedly an ancient dragon's treasure buried somewhere beneath these waters. That's what brought these two here. Their ruined sex ancestor had left behind a treasure-seeking compass pointing to this exact spot. Qi kept going back and forth in his mind. My fishing device looked like it could be searching the lake bottom for ruins. But then again, if I really knew about the treasure, wouldn't I go look myself instead of sending a puppet? He couldn't figure me out. Meanwhile, Chichio was miserable, sleeping in trees, no good food, bored out of his mind. He kept suggesting they just ask me directly, which nearly gave Qi a heart attack. He also suggested using their sex ultimate treasure, the supreme fishing rod, designed for catching dragons, not fish, which almost made Qi strangle him on the spot. If anyone found out they had something like that, they'd both be dead before nightfall. Eventually they compromised. They'd start fishing too, using it as cover while Qi secretly investigated the lake. He'd even prepared a water-repelling pearl to dive in and search. They set up nearby Shursan with ordinary beast meat bait. Bai Shursan glanced over and shook his head. The spirit fish around here had gotten used to proper spirit bait and wouldn't touch beast meat anymore. Only regular fish were biting that stuff now. Chichio pulled up an ordinary fish on his first cast and deflated immediately. Qi comforted him, but his mind was elsewhere. He'd noticed something interesting. This remote edge of the lake had far more spirit fish and dragon fish than it should. That wasn't normal. He suspected the Dragon Palace ruins were influencing the surrounding waters, causing more spirit fish to spawn here. The treasure compass was pointing to the right place. He just needed to find the ruins before anyone else caught on. I noticed the two brothers fishing nearby when I went to collect my basic trap. They were only catching regular fish, no spirit fish at all. I wasn't worried. Eventually they'd come asking about my bait, and my sales would go up. Something strange was happening with the lake though. My catches weren't decreasing over time. The fishing device came back full every single trip. It was like there was an invisible fish farm restocking the waters. Didn't make sense, but I wasn't complaining. With spirit stones piling up, my gambling urge returned. The Myriad Worlds pool had burned me before, but I figured maybe that was just bad luck. This time I'd go big, 1,000 stones for a 10 pull. I dropped the stones in and 20 glowing orbs rose up. The results: grass, dust, ants, a wooden bucket, instant noodles, 2 bottles of top-grade condensing chi pills, a comedy puppet, some snack crackers, a bloodstained shirt, and 2 small rejuvenation technique experience capsules. Most of it was garbage again, but that last item caught my attention. I focused on it and information appeared. Used to instantly gain mastery-level small rejuvenation technique. I searched the Lord Marketplace. Nothing like this existed there. This was something from a world that Yin Huang Star hadn't encountered yet. This was insane. Normally, you need talent and years of practice to master a technique. This capsule skipped all of that. Just swallow it, done. I popped one immediately. The moment it dissolved, memories flooded my mind. I experienced an entire lifetime of someone painstakingly training the small rejuvenation technique from scratch to perfect mastery. It took years in those memories, but only an instant in real time. The knowledge became pure instinct. There was one problem though. Small rejuvenation is a wood element healing technique. I only have fire element spiritual power. The capsule didn't care. It forced the knowledge in regardless. I tested it on an injured spirit fish. Instead of the normal green healing glow, my hands produced a faint red light. The fish's wound didn't heal. Instead, the fish's body seemed to condense. It got slightly smaller but looked more refined, more energetic. It went from half-dead to practically jumping. Fire element rejuvenation didn't heal, it tempered the body. Like a body-strengthening technique. I checked my Lord panel. Sure enough, small rejuvenation technique, mastery, fire, was listed in my skills. I'd accidentally created a variant technique that nobody had ever seen before. The capsule had a bug. It didn't check whether you had the right spirit root. It just crammed the experience in and let your existing spiritual power figure out the rest. I still had the second capsule, but I wasn't sure whether to be excited or terrified by what just happened. So the small rejuvenation technique turned into something completely different in my hands. Let me explain why. Techniques come in two types. The first type converts raw spiritual power into effects, things like my farming techniques. Any cultivator with any spirit root can use these. The second type requires a specific spirit root, like my fire techniques need fire roots, and the small rejuvenation needs wood roots. I'd completely forgotten this when I swallowed that capsule. What I got was a fire element variant that strengthens bodies instead of healing wounds. I still had the second capsule. Before doing anything stupid with it, I checked its value on the Lord Marketplace. 10,000 spirit stones. 100,000. I'd wasted 100,000 stones by using the first one on myself without thinking. The pain was physical. I listed the remaining capsule immediately. It sold fast. Someone out there was very lucky to spot it. A mastery-level healing technique in a capsule, skipping years of training? That's worth every stone. Riding the high, I dumped another 1,000 stones into the myriad worlds pool. Then another 1,000. Then another. Half an hour and 10,000 stones later, I had nothing but garbage. Not a single good item. I forced myself to stop. The earlier capsule had been pure dumb luck. 10,000 stones for trash. But technically I was still up 90,000 stones overall, so I couldn't really complain. This pool was a gambling pit, and I was starting to act like an addict. I put the pool away before I lost control entirely. But as I calmed down, a bigger idea took shape. My luck was mediocre, but what about other people's luck? Among thousands or millions of users, some would have extraordinary fortune. If I opened the myriad worlds pool for others to use, charging them 200 stones per pull instead of 100, I'd profit from the fee and secretly collect a duplicate of every good item through the myriad worlds favor effect. I tested whether I could control the favor copies. I couldn't manipulate what the pool produced or swap items inside the light orbs. But I discovered I could receive the favor duplicates silently, directly into my storage, invisible to whoever was using the pool. The other person would get their item normally and never know I received a copy. This changed everything. Instead of burning through my own stones, I could let countless people spend theirs. Every rare treasure someone pulled, I'd get one too, for free. There were risks though. Items from unknown worlds appearing in this cultivation world could raise suspicions about my identity. And I absolutely couldn't do this on Yanhuang Star. Someone would figure out it was a lord's talent, and the Abyss Lords would come for me. It had to happen here, in my lord world, where no other lord would appear for at least 100 years. I'd charge double, profit from the fees, secretly collect duplicates of every valuable pull, and build wealth faster than fishing could ever achieve. But not yet. At Chi Refining Level 9, I still wasn't strong enough to protect myself if things went sideways. I needed more power first. Soon. But not yet. I decided to stop chasing the dream of reaching Chi Refining Levels 10 through 12. That would cost over 100 million stones just for bragging rights. Sure, imagining the look on local cultivators' faces when they saw a level 12 Chi Refining cultivator was tempting, but spending that much for a little thrill? Not worth it. The truth is, every single one of the 36 elders of the Yanhuang Alliance got to where they are by spending money, not by grinding out perfect foundations. I already have an artificial spirit root. Chasing combat power was never my path. Chasing higher realms is. Bottlenecks only stop poor people. So I decided to break through to foundation building. I started comparing foundation building pills. Ordinary quality, 30,000 stones, 30% success rate. Good quality, 60,000, 40%. Excellent, 90,000, 50%. 3 pattern, 150,000, 70%. 6 and 9 pattern were even pricier. Then I had a thought. There are recovery pills that fix the damage from a failed breakthrough. Only 10,000 stones each, full restoration. So if I bought ordinary pills at 30,000 each, I could attempt 2 breakthroughs for the same budget as 1 excellent pill. 2 shots at 30% each versus 1 shot at 50%. Mathematically, the cheap route actually made more sense. I noticed I was thinking like a gambler. The myriad worlds pool was rubbing off on me. Old me would have saved up for a 9-pattern pill and played it safe. New me was calculating odds and looking for value bets. I went with it. Bought one ordinary pill, specifically the best-selling brand, figuring popularity meant reliability. Back on Yinhuang Star, I rented a breakthrough specialized cultivation room. 2,000 stones per day for 3 days. Expensive, but these rooms boost your success rate by 10 to 20%. Combined with my youth and peak physical condition, my actual odds were closer to 40 or 50%. I learned a new technique first, the Great Sun Scripture Foundation Building chapter. It's the upgrade path from my red flame art. Nothing fancy, not expensive, easy to pick up. Then I took the pill. Foundation building has 3 requirements. Transform spiritual power into mana, temper the physical body, and strengthen the soul. Most people fail at the soul stage. The pill's energy flooded through me. I started with the mana conversion, guiding my spiritual power to condense and transform into true mana. When the first strand of mana crystallized, my absorption speed skyrocketed. Stage 1, complete. The body tempering came next. I was young, healthy, no injuries. My body was at its peak. I redirected most of the pill's remaining energy into strengthening my flesh, while letting ambient spiritual energy handle the rest. This stage finished even faster than the first. Finally, the soul stage. This is where most people fail and die. I braced myself. The pill's energy reached my consciousness. My perception started expanding, sharpening. And then, in barely a dozen breaths, my spiritual sense formed. It was absurdly easy. I was confused until I saw what was happening inside my mind. The myriad worlds pool was glowing brilliantly in my spiritual sea, radiating power. It had done something. Helped me through the hardest part of the breakthrough without me even asking. My aura surged. Foundation building, level 1. Done. I'll admit it, going in with a 30% pill was a gamble. But sometimes the gamble pays off. 3 days later, I was back in my Lord world as a foundation building cultivator. Even I couldn't believe it. I'd gone in expecting to fail with my 30% odds, and somehow breezed through all 3 stages without a hitch. The whole process was smooth. Nothing like the horror stories I'd read from other cultivators with low-grade artificial roots. I could only chalk it up to luck, or maybe the myriad worlds pool had some hidden effect on my body and soul. During the breakthrough, it had been glowing in my spiritual sea. Whatever it did, it helped. The pool upgraded too. It could now produce items up to 3rd tier, golden core level treasures, and the cost per use stayed at 100 stones. That meant the potential payoff just got massively better. Inside my building, the water tanks were nearly overflowing. 3 days of unattended fishing had piled up around 1,800 spirit fish. Good thing I'd set up extra tanks on the 2nd floor before leaving. Tens of thousands of stones flowed in as I listed everything on the marketplace. The moment I stepped outside, Bai San appeared in front of me like a ghost, looking a little resentful. He'd run out of bait on day 1 and spent 2 days knocking on my formation with no answer. Then he froze. His eyes went wide. Your foundation building. Just got lucky, I said with a grin. I've read plenty of lord biographies where they hide their cultivation to play mysterious. Every single time, it just invites trouble. People underestimate them, provoke them, look down on them. Then the lord has to secretly get revenge later. What's the point? In the cultivation world, strength is respect. Show your power, and most problems never happen. No chi refining cultivator would ever insult a foundation building cultivator to their face. They'd call you senior and try to curry favor. So I don't hide my cultivation. Ever. Bai San's expression cycled through shock, confusion, and envy before he caught himself. Greetings, Senior Ning. I waved that off. We're friends. Call me what you always have. He settled on, Pavilion Master Ning, a nod to my shop sign. He'd come to buy bait and sell fish. The 2 brothers had it even worse. Not a single spirit fish in 3 days. They'd finally asked Bai San about his secret and learned about my bait. Right on cue, Chi Chio came running over. Shopkeeper, you're finally back. We want to buy bait too. Behind him, Chi Dong walked up more slowly. I could see his pupil's contract when he sensed my cultivation. Foundation building, in just 3 days. His mind was clearly racing, probably recalculating everything he thought he knew about me. I could practically read his thoughts. Who breaks through to foundation building this fast? Either he's incredibly talented or backed by a massive power. Maybe he really is here for the Dragon Palace ruins. Let him think whatever he wants. More customers is more customers. Senior Ning, Qidong greeted me properly. Smart kid. He could sense my foundation building aura and wasn't about to get on my bad side. Meanwhile, his brother Chichio didn't even register the power difference. He just wanted bait. What can I get you, young friend? I said with a smile. I called him young friend, even though we're basically the same age. That's the cultivation world for you. Strength decides the hierarchy. Qidong's eyebrow twitched, but he kept his composure. He ordered 50 baits. Bai Shisan came running back, dragging his fish haul. He wanted 30 baits and to sell his catch. I handled both transactions, then turned to hand 50 baits to the chubby one. What's your name, little chub friend? I caught myself, but barely. He noticed. Definitely noticed. He introduced himself as Qidong, and the thin one as his senior brother Chichio. They were orphans adopted by the same master, not blood-related at all. Obviously, I said, looking at one who was extremely fat and the other stick-thin. Chichio cheerfully said their master always told them they were cut from the same mold. I had thoughts about that mold. Then I spotted their little wooden shack in the distance. Another eyesore on my territory. Built without permission, ugly as sin. Tear it down, I said. Chichio panicked. Where would they sleep? I looked past him at Qidong, since he was clearly the decision-maker despite being the junior brother. I explained, this is my territory, and any construction needs my approval. It's not personal, I just have standards. Bai Shisan backed me up, shamelessly bragging about his own courtyard, while conveniently forgetting I'd demolished his coffin house by force. Qidong considered leaving the area entirely, but decided to stay. He asked about the courtyard card I'd shown them before, the one he'd called a scam. 6,000 spirit stones, I said. Or you can submit your own building design for my approval. He read between the lines. His design would never pass my aesthetic standards. So he pulled out 6,000 stones. It clearly hurt. I could practically hear his heart bleeding. But I was delighted. This kid had good sense after all. I mentally crossed him off my watch list. He'd been giving me suspicious looks since day one, staring at me like I was some kind of enemy. But a customer who pays full price without haggling? That earns goodwill in my book. I'm the most generous foundation building cultivator on Yanhuang Star. Probably. With the two brothers moving in next door to Bai Shisan, my lord points went up by 2 more. 3 residents now. Not exactly a booming community, but it's a start. I tried selling Qidong a spirit gathering formation, but he shot me this resentful look. I'd already taken 6,000 stones from him. He wasn't ready to spend more. Fair enough, I'd already squeezed him pretty good today. He'd come around eventually. My shop was the only game in town. At the lake, Chichio started fishing with the spirit bait and immediately hooked a dragonfish. Then another one right after. He was screaming for his brother to come see. Qidong's jaw dropped. They'd spent days catching nothing but regular fish, and now 2 dragonfish in minutes. The bait was worth every stone. When Chichio suggested they eat the dragonfish, Qidong nearly strangled him. That's 100 stones we're eating. We sell it. He grabbed a rod and jumped in to start fishing too. Bai Shisan watched from his spot, impressed by Chichio's luck. Even with the bait, Bai Shisan averaged about 1 dragonfish per day. This skinny guy pulled 2 in minutes. Back in my building, I turned my attention to security. Now that I was foundation building, my old first-tier formation felt pathetic. I could punch through it myself with 1 hit. The sense of safety I'd felt before was an illusion. It was time for the invincible formation. This was developed by Yanhuang Star researchers. The basic version costs 200,000 spirit stones and does something incredible. Within the formation's range, it boosts the controller's cultivation by 1 full major realm. 4. Me at foundation building level 1. Activating it would temporarily give me golden core level 1 power, complete with a temporary golden core forming inside my body. The catch? Each activation burns 100,000 stones and only lasts 15 minutes. That's the kind of price that makes you physically ill. I'd better never have to use it. But the security it provides is worth every stone. Within my 1,000-meter territory, no one below golden core could threaten me. The nearest forces are just foundation building level at the Heavenly Capital Mountain Market, and the closest lake island probably has nothing more than small chi refining clans. Golden core in this area means absolute dominance. 5 days of fishing profits later, I finally had enough. I bought the invincible formation from the Lord Marketplace, set it up in my building covering the full 1,000-meter radius of my territory, and loaded 10,000 stones into its built-in storage space, ready to activate instantly if needed. The range was a limitation. A real golden core cultivator could flash step out of the zone in seconds. But they'd only do that if they knew my power was formation-based. If they didn't know, they'd never think to retreat immediately. I really hoped I'd never have to use it. Every activation costs a fortune, and I'd spend 3 sleepless nights mourning those stones. But now, for the first time since arriving in this world, I felt truly safe. After setting up the invincible formation, I got to work renovating. I dug a fish pond behind the building for the fishing device's catches, freeing up the entire first floor. The water tanks were gone. The only thing on the first floor now was the Myriad Worlds pool, or as I call it publicly, the Myriad Immortals pool, had to match this world's vocabulary. The plan was simple. The pool works no matter who throws in the stones. Every time someone uses it, I secretly get a duplicate of whatever they pull through the Myriad Worlds favor effect. I charge 100 stones as my fee on top of the 100 stone pool cost, 200 total per use. Considering someone could pull a golden core level treasure worth hundreds of thousands of stones, a 100 stone fee was incredibly generous. I built a meter-high platform in the center of the first floor and placed the pool on top. Perfect. Now I needed the right first customer. And I knew exactly who. Over the past 5 days, I'd been watching Chichio fish. His luck was absolutely insane. Almost every fish he caught with the spirit bait was a dragon fish. Not occasionally, consistently. 5 straight days of pulling dragon fish after dragon fish. Baishur-san looked like his eyes were going to pop out from jealousy. The brothers had already earned back the 6,000 stones they spent on the courtyard, and then some. This wasn't normal luck. This was supernatural. If this guy used the Myriad Worlds pool, whatever he pulled would probably be incredible, and I'd get a copy of it. One big hit from him, and everyone else would be hooked. I removed the old formation from my building. With the invincible formation ready to activate instantly, the old one was useless weight. Safety was covered. The moment the formation dropped, the brothers showed up with a huge bag of fish to sell, Baishur-san trailing behind them with envy written all over his face. "Come inside," I called out. It was their first time entering the building. They looked around the empty first floor, no merchandise, no displays, just one pool on a platform in the center. Chidong's face lit up with vindication. "This isn't a real shop, is it?" Chichio walked up to the pool and tried to touch the water. His hand went right through. No resistance, no sensation at all. "It's not an illusion," I said, letting their curiosity build. "You're just too low-level to touch it. This pool is called the Myriad Immortals pool." They stared, waiting for an explanation. I let the silence stretch. Then I looked straight at Chichio, the lucky skeleton, and said, "Hey Beanpole, do you want golden core level treasures or not?" "Do you want golden core treasures?" I asked Chichio. "Yes." "Are you giving me one?" he said with a straight face. The nerve of this guy. Does he know what golden core treasures are worth? I explained the rules. Throw 100 stones into the Myriad Immortals pool, get a random item up to golden core tier, plus 100 stone service fee to me. Chidong and Baishur-san looked at me like I was running a scam. Their eyes said it all. "Nice try, buddy." But Chichio's eyes were sparkling. He was ready. Chidong silently pulled out 200 stones. He'd been making thousands per day thanks to his brother's insane dragonfish luck, so 200 wasn't a big deal anymore. He clearly viewed it as paying for his brother's entertainment, letting the poor guy have some fun for once. What none of them knew was why I specifically chose Chichio as my first customer. This skinny guy's luck defied all logic. 5 straight days of catching almost nothing but dragonfish. Even Chidong couldn't catch a single spirit fish with the same bait. The fish were literally choosing Chichio. That kind of fortune wasn't normal. I wanted that luck working on my pool. Chichio tossed the stones in. They landed on the water and sank. One glowing orb rose to the surface. Then the information hit my mind. I felt like I'd been struck by lightning. After my breakthrough to foundation building, the pool had upgraded. I'd secretly spent 20,000 stones testing it myself, and got nothing but junk and a few basic pills. 20,000 stones, wasted. Now, the very first time someone else used it, this happened. The pool had betrayed me. Completely and decisively. I couldn't say what it was out loud. Not yet. But my face must have shown something, because Chidong and Baishur-san suddenly got very curious. They'd been ready to laugh at whatever garbage came out. Now they were staring at my expression, confused, intrigued. How do I open it? Chicho asked, holding the glowing orb. Touch it and think open, I managed. But go outside first. What's inside is big. It won't fit in here. That got everyone's attention. Bai Shisan and Qi Dong exchanged glances. Something big, and I clearly knew what was inside even though I hadn't touched the orb, which meant I had some connection to the pool. But my shocked expression suggested I hadn't expected this result either. Meanwhile, in my storage bag, I had my own copy of the same orb, the Myriad World's favorite duplicate. Whatever Chicho got, I got one too. My heart was in chaos. I'd planned for a foundation building level item as the perfect debut. Something impressive enough to hook my 3 customers without being too outrageous. Instead, the pool went completely overboard on its very first public showing. Chicho practically skipped outside with his glowing orb. The other 2 rushed after him, dying to know what was inside. So was I? I mean, I already knew. That was the problem. I already knew what was inside that orb. And I already knew everyone was about to lose their minds. Chicho opened the light orb outside my building. The next instant, a 100-meter-long creature materialized on the ground in front of us. A flood dragon. A dead one, but still, a genuine golden core level flood dragon. Its body was covered in fading green scales the size of dinner plates. A massive fatal wound gaped under its neck, flesh torn open to reveal dark gold muscle and white bone. Blood was still slowly seeping out. Even dead, its dragon pressure radiated outward, sending the spirit fish in the lake into a frenzy of escape. But the dragon fish did the opposite. They surfaced at the shore and stared toward the body, completely still. Qidong and Bai Shisan rubbed their eyes like they'd gone blind. A flood dragon. From a 200-stone gamble. Is this really mine? Qidong asked me, his voice shaking. He couldn't process why I'd let something worth millions of stones walk away. It's not a gift, I corrected him. Your brother earned it from the pool. It belongs to him. I kept my expression calm. Casual. Like handing out golden core dragon corpses was just Tuesday for me. Inside, I was screaming. After my foundation building breakthrough, I'd secretly tested the upgraded pool with 20,000 of my own stones and gotten nothing but trash. The very first time someone else uses it, this happens. The pool had absolutely no loyalty. But here's what kept me sane. In my storage bag sat my own copy of that same orb, courtesy of the Myriad World's favor, an identical flood dragon corpse, worth over 5 million spirit stones on the Lord Marketplace. I just couldn't open it yet because my storage space wasn't big enough to hold a 100-meter dragon. So technically, the pool's first public use earned me 5 million stones. Not bad for a 100-stone fee. I told them to put it away before it attracted trouble. Qidong stored the entire dragon in his storage ring, which told me something important. A ring with that much space wasn't cheap. These brothers had more background than they let on. Instantly, Qidong wanted to use the pool. I want to try too. His eyes were practically glowing. With that flood dragon, their body cultivation could break through to foundation building level. The dragon's materials would keep them supplied for years. Bai Shisan jumped in. Me too. I'd planned for this moment, but I'd expected maybe a foundation building level item as the hook. Something impressive, but reasonable. Instead, the pool dropped a nuclear bomb on its debut. I'd only stunned 2 customers instead of a crowd. What a waste of a once-in-a-lifetime pull. Still, Qidong alone probably had hundreds of thousands of stones to burn through. That was pure profit. Then Chicho spoke up again. Junior brother? I want another turn. This pool is amazing. I only wanted to eat dragon meat, and it actually gave me a whole dragon. Everyone went silent. I wanted to strangle the pool. And maybe Chicho too. Qidong marched in like a man on a mission. 2,000 stones ready, 10 pulls at once. He was practically cackling, imagining himself cleaning me out the way his brother just did. He threw in the stones. 10 orbs rose up. I looked at the information flooding my mind, and, yeah, do I need to go outside? He asked eagerly. No, his face fell. Not even one dragon. Out of 10, you think dragons are cabbages? Go get a dog. Why? So you can look at your reflection every time it pees. He opened the orbs. A pair of torn underwear, triangular shaped, which raised questions. A withered branch. A plain flatbread. Some mysterious meat sandwich. Complete garbage. 2,000 stones for stuff worth less than 1 stone combined. He wanted to complain, but his brother had literally just pulled a flood dragon from the same pool. The words died in his throat. I laid it out straight. The pool is fair. Good luck gets you incredible treasures. Bad luck gets you nothing. That's how it works, and it has nothing to do with me. Being upfront about this was important. If people with terrible luck didn't understand the risks, they'd cause trouble later. Did Qidong listen? No. He pulled out another 2,000 stones. Again, I refuse to believe this. That's the spirit, I said cheerfully. The more you play, the better your odds. Every bad pull is just building toward the big one. He bought it. Threw in more stones. 10 more orbs. The results were even worse than before. One of the items was something black and smelly. I had to seal my sense of smell with spiritual power. Another was an eyebrow pencil. An eyebrow pencil. More. His face was beet red. His brother was happily poking through the pile of garbage like it was a treasure hunt, which made everything worse. Another 2,000 stones. Another 10 pulls. Nothing. Not even a first-tier item. He'd spent 6,000 stones total and gotten absolutely nothing of value. I felt conflicted. On one hand, a customer who keeps spending is great. On the other, if he never pulls anything good, I don't get any good duplicates either. At least I could take comfort in knowing someone's luck was worse than mine. Maybe let your brother try instead, I suggested. Your luck is remarkable. He trembled, not from weakness, but from pure rage. Bai Shursen stepped up. I'll go once. Just once. He was calm, measured, clearly not the type to lose his head. After watching Qidong's catastrophe, he had zero expectations. He was only doing this to be polite to his creditor, me. Just once? Qidong muttered, suddenly realizing he could have gone one pull at a time instead of dumping thousands at once. The self-reflection hit him hard. Qidong also had another realization. Why was he competing with his brother? He should just stand behind Qiqiu and let the lucky one do all the pulling. Be the man behind the genius. That thought actually cheered him up. Bai Shursen tossed in his stones. One orb floated up. My expression changed. The others didn't notice. Inside, I was screaming. Not again. Was there another child of destiny standing right in front of me? Bai Shursen opened his light orb without hesitation. Inside was a transparent bottle containing something alive. A small, headless, tailless creature swimming slowly inside the liquid. The moment the information hit my mind, I froze. Not again. This thing, if word got out in this world, it would cause absolute chaos. I briefly considered buying it back from Bai Shursen with some compensation. But I stopped myself. I couldn't start doing that. If I interfered every time something valuable appeared, I'd never be able to run the pool as a business. This might be perfect for you, I told him. Qidong relaxed, figuring anything suitable for a level 3 cultivator couldn't be that impressive. He was wrong. It can give you a new spirit root, I said. Specifically, an upper grade wood spirit root. Bai Shursen's hands tightened around the bottle. His original root was only lower grade wood. Weak, slow cultivation, no combat teams would take him, couldn't afford healing technique training. That's why he was stuck fishing for a living. Qidong erupted. Impossible. Nothing can create a spirit root from nothing. Ancient texts say spirit roots are determined by heaven. Even evil cultivators who graft spirit roots only produce corrupted, limited versions. This can't be real. He wasn't wrong, by this world's understanding. But Yin Huangstar doesn't accept those rules. Our people studied spirit roots, figured out how they work, and manufactured artificial ones. Every world's cultivators would call that heresy. But it works. How much do you really know about this world? I asked Qidong. The world is bigger than you can imagine. Far bigger. Any treasure is possible. He didn't buy it. So I suggested a test. He had a spirit root testing stone from his sect, an ancient pillar with hand-shaped imprint. Bai Shursen placed his hand on it first. The lowest ring glowed faint green, lower grade with spirit root. Confirmed. Then Bai Shursen drank the contents of the bottle. A wave of cool energy spread through his body. He said the ambient spiritual energy suddenly felt much more familiar, more welcoming. Test again, I said. Qidong crossed his arms, fully expecting me to be exposed as a fraud. That's it. No dramatic reaction? No light show? This is a joke. He was about to find out it wasn't. Bai Shursen tested his spirit root again. 3 rings of light appeared on the pillar, upper grade with spirit root. Confirmed. The bottle was real. Qidong's jaw hit the floor. Then his brain kicked into overdrive. If the pool could produce spirit roots, Could it produce even better ones? Heaven grade? He stared at me with burning eyes. Does the pool have heaven grade spirit roots? I hesitated. That would probably require me to advance several more major realms before the pool could produce items at that level. Not at the moment, I said carefully. He caught the word, moment. I could see the gears turning. He was starting to realize the pool might grow stronger over time. His interest in whatever treasure he'd been secretly hunting suddenly seemed to cool. The Myriad Immortals pool was the real prize now. He shoved a fistful of stones at his brother. You do it. Keep going. Chichio used the pool 20 more times. His luck had cooled down. No more dragons, but every single item was at least a usable pill or medicine, not a single piece of actual garbage. 20 pulls, and the skinny bean pole basically broke even or came out slightly ahead. Meanwhile, Qidong's 30 pulls had produced nothing but literal trash. The universe has a cruel sense of humor. I profited from every single pull though, collecting my duplicate copies. Not bad at all. They decided to stop and save up luck for a few days. Why San was done too. He'd gotten the deal of a lifetime with that spirit root and wasn't about to push it. I set the ground rules. First floor stays open during the day, second floor and above are off limits. Tell your friends, your relatives, anyone, I said. This Myriad Immortals pool is a path to immortality for anyone willing to spend the stones. Qidong gave me a look that said, you're not even immortal yourself. Chichio gazed at me with pure admiration. Bai San seemed to be genuinely considering inviting people. Then we heard voices outside. Big Bro, the fat dog, and the skinny one went in there. I saw them. Nice work. We finally found those little punks. Be quiet. Don't scare them off. But Big Bro, shoo. I said shoo, not just stand there shushing. Talk. But you told us to shush? Don't talk back to me. We all stared at each other in silence. These were the worst ambushers in cultivation history. My spiritual sense had already scanned them. One at Chi refining level 8, 2 lackeys at levels 5 and 6. Scruffy beards, shifty eyes, classic bottom feeders. Friends of yours? I asked Qidong. Go handle it. He explained they were some kind of bandits who'd been chasing him and his brother since they left their sect. Multiple ambush attempts, all failures. He'd almost considered letting them succeed just so they'd stop following. You didn't steal someone's wife and beat up their kid, did you? I asked. What? I'm Qidong, not some. I don't even know these people. And for your information, I have standards. Nothing less than a fairy-level beauty. His face turned red. I squinted at him. Suspicious overreaction, but I let it go. I told him to deal with it fast before they caused trouble for my shop. He grabbed Chichio and charged outside. What followed was embarrassing. Through my spiritual sense, I watched 5 cultivators, all of them, brawling with their bare fists. Punching, kicking, wrestling in the dirt. Not a single technique, talisman, or magical weapon in sight. It looked like a street fight between thugs, not a battle between cultivators. I was genuinely ashamed on behalf of all practitioners everywhere. So much for my dreams of a glorious first battle in this new world. Those 5 clowns just punched each other with bare fists until Qidong and Chichio chased them off, bruised, bloody, and crawling away. Not a single technique used. I'm embarrassed for the entire cultivation community. Back upstairs, I listed the Flood Dragon corpse on the Lord Marketplace, still sealed in its light orb, which the system recognized perfectly since the pool is tied to my Lord token. The recommended price was 6 million spirit stones. 6 million. I ran the math immediately. Foundation building cultivation pills, 2 lower grade at 300,000 each, 3 mid-grade at 600,000 each, 3 upper grade at 900,000 each. Total cost to reach foundation building level 9, about 5,100,000 stones. I had enough with room to spare. I'd expected it would take a year or more to save that much. Chichio's ridiculous luck did in one pull what months of fishing couldn't. The dragon sold before I even got back to Yenhuangstar. 6 million stones, deposited. When I stepped outside my house, I noticed something different. The sky was filled with floating broadcasts, massive images announcing the Immortal Tao Prodigy Championship. It happens every 10 years, selecting the most talented fighters for cultivation resources, Lord tokens, and alliance support. The entry requirements were basically non-existent. Any alliance member could join. But 99% of participants were just there to pad the numbers. Real geniuses were already guaranteed spots in the main tournament. The preliminaries lasted a year, the finals 3 more. Zhuge Yuan called almost immediately. Want to join the championship? I can get you into the main tournament, he said excitedly. He even offered to lend me a treasure that would let me fight above my level. This year's grand prize was apparently a year inside the Taisu world, an alliance resource world with spiritual veins everywhere, legendary herbs growing wild, and water so rich in energy it qualified as spirit water. 1 year inside could yield enough resources to cultivate all the way to nascent soul. They just couldn't use the Lord Marketplace inside, otherwise the whole place would get stripped bare. I had no idea the Alliance controlled worlds like that. Made me wonder, could the Myriad Worlds pool eventually produce an entire world? That seemed crazy, but the pool kept surprising me. Seriously, come join, Zhuge Yuan pushed. 0 casualties in the tournament's entire history. If you get lucky matchups, you could even make the foundation building rankings. I turned him down flat. Fighting wasn't my thing. Raising my cultivation was far more interesting than getting beaten up by actual geniuses. I was a businessman, not a warrior. 6 million spirit stones. I had to count the zeros twice. Back in my building's second-floor cultivation room, I sat inside a newly purchased second-tier spirit gathering formation, surrounded by spirit stones. The Flood Dragon corpse had sold almost instantly. Rich lords are everywhere. I bought all 9 cultivation pills at once from the Pill Immortal Lord. 2 lower grade at 300,000 each. 3 mid-grade at 600,000 each. 3 upper grade at 900,000 each. 5,100,000 total. My balance dropped to about 687,000. The pills arrived in jade bottles, pale red, deep red, and dark gold, each with 9 pill patterns glowing on the surface. Pill Immortal quality, as always. I started with the first lower grade pill. It dissolved instantly, sending a massive but gentle warmth flooding through my body. I guided it with the Great Sun scripture into my spiritual lake. That's what the Dantian becomes at foundation building. My lake started at about 3 zhang across. With each pill, it expanded steadily. Day 3, foundation building level 3. Lake at 9 zhang. Day 4, level 4. The mid-grade pills hit harder. My spiritual power shifted from pale gold to pure gold. Day 5, level 5. Day 6, level 6. Then the upper grade pills. The moment I swallowed the first one, I understood why they cost 900,000 each. The energy was like a river breaking through a dam. My spiritual lake surged outward, 20 zhang, 30, 40. Day 7, noon. My lake reached 81 zhang across. Pure golden spiritual power, shining like a sun submerged beneath the surface. Foundation building level 9, peak. Complete. 7 days. From level 1 to the absolute peak. In any cultivation world, this would be called impossible unless an entire top-tier sect poured all their resources into one disciple. Money is wonderful. When I stepped outside, my spiritual sense, now covering 3 miles in every direction, picked up something strange. Hundreds of dragon fish were leaping from the lake, all facing my building like they were bowing. My Great Sun scripture produces pure yang energy, and at peak foundation building, some of my aura must have leaked out during the breakthrough. The dragon fish mistook it for dragon-type pressure. Good. Should make fishing even easier. I also sensed someone watching from a distance. Someone was monitoring this area. I filed that away for later. Bai Shan rushed over. Your aura. You broke through again. He stared at me like I was a monster. You feel deeper than that foundation building cultivator who runs the heavenly capital mountain market. Just foundation building late stage, I said casually. Qi Dong gave me a long, hard look. Congratulations on your advancement, Pavilion Master Ning. I could see the gears turning behind his eyes. A few days ago, I was foundation building level 1. Now I was at the peak. He was probably wondering if I was some ancient monster reborn. Let him wonder. I looked at the churning lake full of dragon fish and started thinking ahead. Foundation building was complete. Next goal, golden core. That meant earning a lot more spirit stones. But first, I needed to deal with practical matters. The Myriad Immortals pool's reputation would spread eventually. The heavenly capital mountain market forces would notice this place sooner or later. I turned to Qi Dong. What are your plans? He said they wanted to save up for foundation building pills. With their dragonfish income and occasional pool luck, they could afford it. They just didn't have a source. I sell those too. Fair price, I told him. But I have a suggestion. This place is too empty. If you have friends or relatives who'd want to settle here, I'll sell you spirit gathering formations at a discount. I'm planning to lay down spirit veins soon, so the thin spiritual energy won't be a problem. You're the first residents. You can see the potential. He said he'd think about it. I told Bai Shursen the same. Spread the word, but quality over quantity. Walking back inside, I started planning how to turn 600,000 remaining stones into a real territory. I had 3 lord points now, 1 each from Bai Shursen, Qidong, and Chichio. More residents meant more points, more prosperity, and access to special items in the Lord Marketplace, like cross-world communication talismans. If those existed, I could stay in touch with Zhuge Yuan from anywhere. I glanced back at the lake one last time. Dragon fish leaping through sunlight, scattering golden reflections everywhere. 7 days to reach foundation building peak. Next up, earning enough to buy a golden core. While I was spending 7 days breaking through to foundation building level 9, things were happening that I didn't fully know about yet. What I did know, after reaching peak foundation building, my spiritual sense expanded to cover 3 miles. And within that range, I found someone hiding. A spy, tucked inside a hollowed-out old willow tree by the lake, using some kind of wood concealment technique. Chi refining level 9, but his stealth skills were foundation building quality, clearly a trained operative. If I hadn't just completed my breakthrough and gained a massive boost to my spiritual sense, I never would have detected him. He was that good. I didn't confront him. I wanted to know who sent him, who he was watching, and why. So I wrapped a thin thread of spiritual sense around that tree and waited. Greedy people never wait long. What I didn't know, but would learn soon enough, was the full picture behind that spy. His name was Shadow 7, one of 12 shadow guards belonging to the Zhao family, a foundation-building clan that co-controlled the heavenly capital mountain market 700 miles east of here. He'd been secretly monitoring 3 bandits who were chasing Qi Dong and Qi Qiu, apparently on orders from some higher authority that wanted the brothers tracked. 7 days ago, Shadow 7 had watched Qi Qiu open the light orb outside my building. He'd recorded the entire flood dragon appearance with a recording stone and sent it back to the Zhao family patriarch, Zhao Yongchang, a foundation-building level 6 cultivator. Zhao Yongchang's first reaction was disbelief. Then he saw the recording. A complete, fresh golden core flood dragon corpse. His mind went straight to his family's ancestor, who'd been in seclusion for 10 years attempting to break through to golden core. That dragon's blood and bones could be refined into a pill that would boost the ancestor's chances by 30%. The Zhao family would become a golden core clan. He ordered 7 more days of surveillance. Shadow 7 reported back. No hidden cultivators protecting the area, no defensive formations beyond what was visible, no powerful guardians. Just a strange little shop run by what appeared to be a single cultivator. Zhao Yongchang made his decision. He assembled 11 shadow guards, took out a 3rd-tier artifact called the Soul-Subduing Bell, a weapon so precious it needed 10 years of nurturing after each use, and prepared to lead them personally to my location. He chose not to report the dragon to his superiors. If he did, the Zhao family would never see a piece of it. That night, 12 black-clad figures melted into the darkness and raced west toward my lake. What Zhao Yongchang didn't know was that his spy had already been discovered. What he also didn't know was that the shop owner he planned to rob was sitting on the invincible formation, 1 activation away from golden core level combat power. From my rooftop that evening, I watched storm clouds gather in the east. The dragon fish in the lake were restless, jumping nervously. "A storm is coming," I murmured. I glanced at the old willow tree one last time before stepping inside. My lips curved slightly. Inside that tree, Shadow 7 felt a sudden, inexplicable chill, like a primordial beast had casually glanced his way. He suppressed his breathing and chanted his concealment mantra harder. He had no idea he'd already been completely exposed. They came at night. 13 of them. I'd been tracking that spy in the willow tree for days, so I wasn't surprised when his friends showed up. My spiritual sense picked them up the moment they entered my 3-mile range. 12 black figures dropping out of the sky like crows, landing 100 yards from my building. Their leader wore dark green robes with a bronze bell at his waist. Foundation building level 6. The other 11 were all Chi refining level 9, dressed in black armor, trained killers, not random thugs. This was a professional operation. The spy, Shadow 7, joined them and pointed out my building and the brothers' courtyard. Their scouts circled my building with some kind of shadow detection technique, then reported back. I could hear everything with my spiritual sense. He told the leader my aura was unfathomable, similar to what he'd felt from their ancestor. That spooked them enough to redirect their attention away from me. The leader's name was Zhao Yongchong, patriarch of the Zhao family, one of 2 clans controlling the heavenly capital Mountain Market. He'd come for Qidong and Qiqiu, not me. He figured if I was smart, I'd stay out of it. 11 shadow guards fanned out and surrounded the brothers' courtyard in a half-circle formation. Zhao Yongchong stayed put, watching my building, his hand resting on that bronze bell. I stepped outside. "Deep night for a visit," I said calmly. "What brings you here?" He gave me a polite smile and introduced himself. Said it was a private matter, nothing to do with my shop. Just needed to deal with the 2 brothers. On my territory, I raised an eyebrow. "That involves me." His smile stiffened. He claimed this was unclaimed land, no one's territory. Then the fighting started. His shadow guards attacked the brothers' courtyard. I heard Qidong shout, then the clash of weapons. 5 level 9 fighters against 2 level 7 kids. Within 3 exchanges, the brothers were in serious trouble. "Pavilion Master Ning," Qidong screamed. "Save us. We'll pay. Any amount." Zhao Yongchong activated the bronze bell. A low hum spread outward, and both brothers froze for a split second, a soul attack. One shadow guard's short sword shot toward Qidong's back like a snake. "This doesn't concern you," Zhao Yongchong told me, his voice turning cold. "Our ancestor is at foundation building peak, about to break through to Golden Core. Interfere, and you're making an enemy of the Zhao family." He was trying to scare me with his ancestor, testing whether I'd back down. I blinked at him. Zhao family ancestor? Foundation building peak? Never heard of them. His face went blank. But, I sighed, looking at the brothers fighting for their lives. They live here. They're my customers. A host should look after his guests. "You're really going to interfere?" His hand tightened on the bell, eyes flashing with killing intent. "Yeah," I nodded seriously. "They said they'd pay." He laughed, the angry kind. Then he poured spiritual power into the bell. The sound hit like a spike driven through my skull. This was the soul-subduing bell, a 3rd-tier artifact that attacks the spirit directly. Below foundation building, you'd collapse. Even foundation building cultivators would have their spiritual sense scrambled. The instant the bell rang, Zhao Yongchong launched himself at me, claw hand aimed at my throat. No hesitation, no warning, a killing strike. Behind him, the shadow guards intensified their assault. Qidong was drowning in blade light. Qiqiu's iron staff had been knocked away, and 2 swords were inches from his chest. This was the moment I'd been preparing for. 20,000 spirit stones sitting inside the invincible formation's array plate, ready to activate. They came for the brothers, not for me. But they came on my land. Zhao Yongchong stood 100 yards from my building with 11 shadow guards fanning out around the brothers' courtyard. His scout had already probed my building and reported my aura as unfathomable. That spooked Zhao Yongchong enough to avoid targeting me directly. He just wanted Qidong and Qiqiu. He introduced himself politely, said it was private business, nothing to do with me. "On my territory?" I said. "That makes it my business." He claimed this was unclaimed land. Then his shadow guards attacked. 3 breaths later, the brothers were overwhelmed. 5 level 9 fighters against 2 level 7 kids. It wasn't even close. Qidong screamed for help, offering to pay any amount. Zhao Yongchong struck his soul-subduing bell. The sound was designed to shatter concentration and paralyze anyone below Golden Core. Both brothers froze mid-fight. Blades closed in on them from every direction. Then he turned to me with his threat. His ancestor was foundation building peak, about to reach Golden Core. Interfere, and I'd be making an enemy of the entire Zhao family. I blinked. Never heard of them. "They're my customers," I added. "And they said they'd pay." He laughed in disbelief. Then he poured everything into the bell and lunged at my throat. I raised my right hand. Formation, activate. The ground erupted in golden light. Thousands of golden lines blazed across the earth in a 1,000-meter radius, forming an enormous array that shot a pale gold dome into the sky. The invincible formation, online. My aura exploded upward. Foundation Building 9. Golden Core 1, 2, 3, all the way to Golden Core 9. Peak. Zhao Yongchang's claw stopped 3 feet from my throat. Not because he chose to stop, because the pressure crushed him where he stood. His bones groaned under the weight. He looked up at me with blank, uncomprehending eyes. Golden fire flickered around my body. The bell sound wave hit my palm wind and dissolved into nothing. I pressed my palm down. One simple push. His blood shield shattered like wet paper. The bell's power vanished. My palm wind passed through every defense he had and destroyed everything inside him. Organs, meridians, bones, all at once. He didn't even have time to feel pain before the darkness took him. His shadow guards screamed his name. Then they stopped screaming. The residual force from that single palm spread outward like a ripple and swept through all 11 of them. They froze, then crumbled into ash that drifted away on the wind. 3 breaths. 13 dead. 1 palm. The formation deactivated. The golden light faded. My aura dropped back to foundation building, as if the golden core 9 peak pressure had been a dream. But Zhao Yongchang's bloodstain on the ground, and the ash still floating in the air, said otherwise. I looked at my hand and sighed. 100,000 spirit stones. Just gone. That snapped everyone out of their shock. Qi Dong threw himself at my feet, kowtowing frantically, promising to pay whatever I wanted. Qi Qiu dropped beside him, doing the same. I told them to get up and asked what grudge they had with the Zhao family. They had no idea. They'd never even met anyone from that clan. Bai Shisan suggested someone must have seen the flood dragon appear and reported it to the Zhao family. That made sense. He also pointed out that Zhao Yongchang was the family patriarch. When their ancestor found out he was dead, there would be retaliation. The heavenly capital mountain market was only 700 miles away. Their ancestor is foundation building peak, Qi Dong said, face still white. If he comes out of seclusion, so what? I shrugged. Foundation building peak. That's all. I said it like it was nothing, because within my formation's range, it was nothing. Golden Core 9 can handle any foundation building cultivator like swatting a fly. If he wants to talk, we'll talk. If he wants to fight. I paused at the door and looked back with a smile. That was too quick just now. I didn't even get to stretch properly. All 3 of them shivered. I went upstairs and sat down to recover. Using the formation and channeling Golden Core 9 power through a foundation building body was taxing. But at peak foundation building, I recovered quickly. I picked up Zhao Yongchang's storage ring and the soul-subduing bell from where he'd fallen. Spoils of war. Outside my window, the lake was calm again. Dragon fish resumed their jumping, as if nothing had happened. But far to the east, toward the heavenly capital mountain, I could sense something, an ancient, furious aura beginning to stir. The storm might just be starting. But within my territory, under the invincible formation, even Golden Core cultivators would have to kneel. Let them come. While I sat in my building recovering from the formation strain, things were unraveling fast at the Zhao family estate 700 miles east. I didn't know the details then, but I'd piece it all together later. The moment Zhao Yongchang died, his soul lamp, a bronze oil lamp linked to his spirit, cracked and went dark in the Zhao family's underground ancestral hall. An old caretaker who'd guarded those lamps for 40 years screamed the news through the compound. Within half an hour, 5 foundation building cultivators gathered in their council hall. Zhao Yongxing, the dead patriarch's younger brother at foundation building level 5. Zhao Yongyan, a cousin at level 4 who ran their marketplace business. 3 more at level 1 handling guards, spirit fields, and the treasury. The gray-robed old steward, Zhao Mingyuan, who I'd seen standing behind Zhao Yongchang, knelt before them and confessed everything. The Shadow Guard surveillance mission. The Flood Dragon recording. The Patriarch's decision to go after Qi Dong and Qi Qiu without reporting to whoever, above, had assigned them the monitoring task. The 11 Shadow Guards. The soul-subduing bell. All of it, gone in 3 breaths. The family erupted. Zhao Yongyan slammed a table hard enough to crack it. They argued about what could have killed a foundation building level 6 cultivator carrying a 3rd-tier artifact and 11 elite guards so fast that he couldn't even activate his emergency escape techniques. His soul lamp hadn't flickered, it just went out. Instant death. Some guessed I was secretly Golden Core. Others figured I had hidden protectors. None of them got it right. Then came the detail that shook them most. Zhao Yongchang had mentioned someone above, a higher authority that had assigned the surveillance of the Qi brothers. Even his own brother didn't know about this connection. Whatever secrets Zhao Yongchang had been keeping died with him. Zhao Yongxing took command. He locked down the estate, activated their defensive formation, recalled all guards from the marketplace, and posted his 3 weakest foundation building members to protect key locations. Then he went to the forbidden grounds behind the mountain. Their ancestor, Zhao Wuji, had been in seclusion for 10 years, trying to break through to Golden Core. He'd left strict orders. Do not disturb unless the family faces extinction. Zhao Yongxing knelt outside the stone cave and activated a blood-summoning talisman, spitting his own blood onto it. The talisman shot into the cave and shattered whatever meditation state the ancestor was in. The old man emerged. White-haired, withered face, sunken eyes, but those eyes burned with terrifying intensity. Foundation building peak, pushed to absolute perfection over a decade of grinding. One opportunity away from Golden Core. Zhao Yongxing told him everything. The ancestor listened without expression. Then he asked 2 questions. Did Yongchang bring the soul-subduing bell? Did all 11 shadow guards go? Yes and yes. And he still died, the old man said flatly. The enemy either has Golden Core power or means equivalent to it. Then he smiled. A cold, dry smile. Yongchang is dead. The bell is lost. But the flood dragon is still out there. He stepped out of the valley, his body transforming into a streak of gray light aimed west toward my lake. Gather every foundation building member. Follow me to Fallen Dragon Lake. I want to see what this Ningxian pavilion really is. He was coming. Foundation building peak. 10 years of accumulated power. Hungry for the dragon corpse that could push him to Golden Core. What he didn't know was that I'd already sold that dragon. And what he really didn't know was that within my 1,000-meter territory, his foundation building peak cultivation meant absolutely nothing against Golden Core 9. I sat on my rooftop at dawn, breathing with the lake wind. Last night's palm strike had cost 100,000 stones, but it was worth every one. The feeling of Golden Core 9 power flowing through me, controlling heaven and earth with a thought, had left a deep impression on my soul. Was it expensive? Absolutely. Was it satisfying? Beyond words. In this world, no amount of scheming beats raw power. If I can solve a problem with 1 palm strike, I'm not using 2. Any threat to my territory gets destroyed completely. No capturing, no taming, no political games. Just elimination. I loaded another 100,000 stones into the formation's array plate. Fully charged again. 1 activation, 15 minutes of Golden Core 9 power. Hope that Zhao ancestor doesn't keep me waiting too long, I muttered. I was actually looking forward to testing the formation's power again. Each time I used it, the simulated Golden Core gave me deeper insights into that realm. Also, how much should I charge Qi Dong for saving his life? Something to think about. The answer to my first question came faster than expected. Mid-morning, a furious, overwhelming aura exploded from the eastern sky, racing toward my lake at terrifying speed. The pressure alone made the air heavy. A foundation-building peak cultivator, 10 years of accumulated power, radiating killing intent without any attempt to hide it. Zhao Wuji, the Zhao family ancestor. Down by the lake, Bai Shisan and the brothers felt it too. Bai Shisan went pale. Qi Dong identified it immediately, foundation-building peak. The pressure was 10 times stronger than what his dead grandson had given off. They were scared. I wasn't. I stepped out of my building, looked up at the gray streak of light cutting through the clouds, and smiled. Finally, I raised my right hand. Formation, activate. Golden lines erupted from the ground across a 1,000-meter radius, weaving into the massive array pattern, shooting a golden dome into the sky. My aura detonated upward. Foundation building peak. Golden Core 1, 3, 6, 9. Peak. This time, I didn't hold anything back. I let the full pressure of Golden Core 9 radiate outward without restraint. The lake went still as glass. Every dragon fish dove to the bottom. Birds and insects for 10 miles around dropped flat, trembling. Let the old man feel exactly what he was flying into. The old man arrived at dawn, riding a streak of gray light, his killing intent flooding the sky. Zhao Wuji, foundation building peak, 10 years of seclusion, the strongest cultivator in the heavenly capital mountain region. He froze the instant he entered my territory, because I'd already activated the formation. Golden Core 9. Full power, no restraint. I let the pressure crash down on him without warning. His rage turned to shock, then to raw terror in the span of a heartbeat. He'd spent a decade chasing Golden Core, so he understood better than anyone what Golden Core 9 meant. This wasn't something he could fight. This wasn't something he could survive. He fell from the sky like a puppet with its strings cut. My pressure alone shattered his protective energy and drove him into the ground, creating a crater. He lay there broken, bones snapped, blood leaking from his nose and mouth, unable to lift a finger. "Senior, spare me," he screamed, his voice cracking with fear. "I didn't know you were here. The Zhao family will give everything we have." I looked down at him, raised my hand. The spiritual energy of heaven and earth converged above him, forming 100-zhang golden palm, clear fingerprints, blazing with light, hovering over his head like the hand of a god. "Zhao family ancestor," I said calmly. "Foundation building peak," he screamed, and threw everything he had at survival. Every defensive artifact flew out of his storage bag. He bit his tongue and sprayed blood to fuel an escape technique. Shields, barriers, desperate flight, all at once. None of it mattered. The golden palm pressed down. Gently, his barriers dissolved on contact. His blood escape shattered before it left his body. The palm touched him, and he simply ceased to exist. Body, soul, 100 years of cultivation, all gone in an instant. No blood, no remains, no ash. Just a shallow palm print in the earth, 3 inches deep, perfectly detailed. As if he'd never existed at all. The formation deactivated. My aura dropped back to foundation building. The golden light faded. I turned to the 3 residents of my territory, who stood frozen, white as ghosts, drenched in cold sweat. "It's over," I said. "Go rest." Then I added, "Qidong, you should start thinking about what price is fair for saving your lives." I went back inside. What I didn't mention to them was the best part. 30 miles east, 5 more Zhao family foundation building cultivators had been racing to back up their ancestor. They arrived just in time to witness the golden palm erase Zhao Wuji from existence. They ran. All 5 of them turned and fled in different directions without a word, burning their own blood essence to fuel emergency escape techniques. No looking back, no thoughts of revenge or the family's future. Just pure, animal terror. I watched them scatter from my window. I didn't chase them. Couldn't, actually, outside my 1,000-meter formation range. I was just a regular foundation-building cultivator. Those 5 could have beaten me easily out there. But they didn't know that. "Let them run," I murmured. "They'll spread the word. Ningxian Pavilion is not to be trifled with." Morning light filled the first floor of my building. I sat at a new wooden desk with a contract laid out on beast skin paper, written in cinnabar ink with spiritual patterns along the edges. Qidong stood across from me, staring at the numbers, his face pale. 40,000. "I mean, isn't this a bit much?" he croaked. I tapped the paper with my brush. "Last night's activation cost 100,000 stones. This morning's cost another 100,000. That's 20,000 in expenses. The other 20,000 is my service fee. Cost plus labor. Perfectly fair." His eye twitched. He clearly wanted to call me a crook, but then he glanced at the shallow palm print still visible in the ground outside, where a foundation building peak ancestor had been erased from existence, and thought better of it. When someone who can do that asks for 400,000 stones, you say thank you. "We can't pay it all right now," he managed. "No rush. 1 year. No interest." I slid the brush toward him. "Or you can choose not to sign. Your call." He grabbed the pen so fast he nearly knocked over the inkstone. The moment he signed, the spiritual patterns on the contract lit up. 2 streams of light shot out. One into his forehead, one into my sleeve. Blood contract sealed. If he didn't pay within a year, his soul would detonate. "One more thing," I added casually. "The Zhao family might come looking for you. Stay within my territory and you're safe. Anyone who tries to take you, even nascent soul or spirit transformation cultivators, won't succeed." That last part was a bluff. But after what they'd witnessed, nobody was going to question it. After they left, Chi-Chio told his brother not to worry. He'd just catch more dragonfish. Qidong seemed to relax. With his brother's supernatural luck and the myriad immortals pool, 400,000 stones was achievable in months, not years. Meanwhile, I was already thinking about what the Zhao family would do next. I got my answer that same afternoon, though I wouldn't learn the details until later. Back at the heavenly capital mountain, the 5 foundation-building cultivators who'd watched me erase their ancestor didn't stop to mourn. They didn't plan revenge. They didn't even argue about what to do. They looted their own home. Every valuable, spirit stones, pills, talismans, artifacts, Even the 100-year-old spirit tea trees in the courtyard was ripped out and packed up. They dismantled their protective formation, stripped the treasury bare, and destroyed what they couldn't carry. Zhao Yongxing, now the highest-ranking survivor, carved a final message into a jade slip and sent it into their ancestral hall. The Zhao family has fallen. All members must scatter immediately. Hide your identities. For 100 years, no one may act under the Zhao name. Anyone who disobeys is expelled from the family records. Then 20-plus Zhao family members launched into the sky and fled east, carrying everything they owned on their backs. Not one of them looked toward the lake. The Zhao family, a century-old power that had co-ruled the heavenly capital mountain market, abandoned their home in a single afternoon because of one palm strike. I watched the eastern sky from my window and smiled. No pursuit necessary. The message had been delivered. Ningxian Pavilion stands. The Zhao family doesn't. The ripple effects from my 2 palm strikes spread faster than I expected. I didn't know the details right away, but here's what happened at the heavenly capital mountain. The Wang family, the other foundation building clan sharing the marketplace, noticed the Zhao family's frantic activity. Their patriarch, Wang Qingyun, was a careful man. He watched Zhao family members rip out their own defensive formations, strip their treasury, and flee east with everything they could carry. All within hours. He waited 3 days. Smart move. If a golden core cultivator had really appeared, better to know before making a move. When nobody came and the Zhao family didn't return, the Wang family walked into the empty Zhao estate and claimed everything left behind. No fighting, no bloodshed. They just absorbed the territory, the remaining branch family members, and the marketplace stalls. A century-old power, gone overnight. And the Wang family ate it all without lifting a finger. Rumors exploded across the marketplace. Some said a hidden golden core master destroyed the Zhao family. Others claimed internal fighting. Nobody knew the truth, and nobody connected it to my little shop by the lake. 2 days later, Bai Shisan's friends arrived. 3 low-level wandering cultivators. Lei Ming, a scarred muscular guy at Qi refining level 5 with dual earth gold roots. Chun Feng, a skinny young man at level 4 with water root who was fast but weak, and Lu Yun, a sharp-minded woman at level 5 with fire root. They'd received Bai Shisan's letter and come to investigate his wild claims. Upper grade with spirit root? A magical pool that gives golden core treasures for 200 stones? They thought he'd lost his mind. Bai Shisan pulled out a testing stone and showed them his 3 green rings, confirmed upper grade wood root. Their jaws dropped. They'd known him for over a decade. He'd always been the weakest among them, stuck with the worst possible spirit root. He told them everything. The spirit bait, the myriad immortals pool, Chi Chio pulling a flood dragon corpse. He also mentioned, very casually, that I'd killed the Zhao family patriarch with 1 palm strike, then erased their foundation building peak ancestor the same way the next morning. Their faces went through several shades of white. Lu Yun recovered first. "Take me to the pool," she said firmly. "Our spirit roots are garbage. We'll never reach foundation building. Better to gamble 200 stones than live a mediocre life." The other 2 hesitated, then agreed. 200 stones was everything they had. But what good was saving it if they'd never advance? They followed Bai Shisan to my building. I noticed them pause at the door, staring at the palm print still glowing faintly in the morning sunlight, the one I'd left when I erased Zhao Wuji. Good. Let that be their first impression. I looked up from the old book I was reading and smiled. New customers? Welcome. Bai Shisan's 3 friends lined up to try the Myriad Immortals pool. I'd upgraded the visual effects since the early days. Now when stones hit the water, a small vortex forms. The water turns from clear to deep blue to black, and the light orb rises dramatically from the center. A little ceremony goes a long way. Lu Yun went first. She handed me 100 stones, dropped another 100 into the pool, and waited with held breath as her orb floated up. She opened it. A gray rock fell into her palm. Rough surface, no spiritual energy, completely ordinary. "What is this?" she asked, voice trembling. "A regular stone," I said. "Decent hardness. Good for paving roads." Her face went white. 200 spirit stones. Her entire savings from months of hunting beasts and gathering herbs. For a road pebble. She stumbled to the wall and leaned against it, eyes closed, chest heaving. Chen Feng went next, hands shaking. His orb produced a small wooden box containing a pinch of brownish tea leaves. Barely any spiritual energy. Low-grade bitter tea, I told him. Keeps mortals awake. For chi refining cultivators. Marginally useful. He looked like he wanted to cry. 2 down, both disasters. Bai Shursen quietly suggested to Lei Meng that maybe he should save his stones. But Lei Meng was a gambler at heart. Bottom-level cultivators always are. When you have nothing, what's the harm in betting everything? He threw his stones in hard, almost angry. This time, something felt different. The vortex spun faster. The water shifted from black to dark gold. Even I noticed the change. The orb rose. Lei Ming grabbed it and cracked it open. A palm-sized white jade bottle fell into his hand. Warm to the touch, 3 golden pill patterns etched on its surface, sealed with a cork stopper. Mid-grade first-tier cultivation pill, I announced. Raises a mid-stage chi refining cultivator 1 full level. No side effects, no toxins, dead silence. Lu Yun's eyes snapped open. Qin Feng's head jerked up. They both stared at the bottle like it was a mirage. A pill that directly raises your cultivation level. These things get snatched up by major families the instant they appear in any marketplace. Low-level cultivators like them would never even see one, let alone own one. And Lei Ming got it for 200 stones. Is this real? He croaked. Take it right now if you don't believe me, I said. He pulled the cork without hesitation. A pale golden pill the size of a longan fruit rolled out, releasing a rich, warm fragrance that made everyone's spiritual power stir just from the smell. Lu Yun whispered, "It's real." Qin Feng stared with pure envy. If only his pull had been this one instead of that worthless tea. That's the myriad immortals pull for you. One person gets a paving stone, another gets a life-changing pill. Some cry, some celebrate. And I profit either way. Plus I got my own duplicate of that cultivation pill sitting quietly in my storage, courtesy of the myriad world's favor. The best part? Lu Yun and Qin Feng weren't done. I could see it in their eyes. The loss stung, but watching Lei Ming hold that pill hurt even more. They'd be back. They'd scrape together more stones somehow. Fishing, hunting, borrowing, and they'd try again. That's how the pool works. One winner keeps 100 losers coming back. Lei Ming swallowed the pill right there on the spot. 1 instant stick's worth of time later, his aura surged. Chi refining level 6, peak. Not just a breakthrough, but pushed all the way to the top of the level. His body even got strengthened in the process. The guy was ecstatic. Lu Yun and Qin Feng watched with complicated expressions. Happy for their friend, sure, but mostly feeling the sting of their own losses. 3 people came in together. 1 walked out with a life-changing treasure. 2 walked out with a rock and some cheap tea. That's the pool. Fair. Depends on your luck. Bai Shursen stepped in at the perfect moment. He told his friends that losing 200 stones wasn't the end of the world, because earning stones here was easy. He showed them his spirit bait and explained the fishing business. 5 stones per bait, 10 to 15 stones per regular spirit fish, over 100 per dragon fish. His daily income ranged from 500 to 1,000 stones. Their eyes nearly popped out. They earned 200 or 300 stones per year doing odd jobs and hunting weak monsters. Bai Shursen was making that in half a day. All 3 bought bait immediately. Lu Yun and Qin Feng could only afford 5 each. Lei Ming, riding high from his breakthrough, grabbed 10. I'd set up a small shelf by the wall, added it yesterday, stocked with bait, basic pills, and talismans. Having physical products on display made the place feel more like a real shop. They headed to the lake with Bai Shursen, who picked out fishing spots and showed them the basics. Not that there's much technique involved. Hook the bait, cast the line, wait. Lu Yun's rod dipped almost immediately. She pulled up a silver scale fish worth 11 stones. The relief on her face was instant. Not much, but it was something coming back. Qin Feng caught a green jade fish worth 13 stones right after. Lei Ming hooked a dragon fish on his 3rd cast. Low grade, but still worth over 100 stones. He was practically glowing. I watched from my window as 4 people sat by the lake, pulling fish after fish from the water. The 2 who'd lost everything at the pool were already smiling again, calculating how fast they could earn back their losses. This was exactly how I designed things to work. The pool is the gamble, exciting, dramatic, occasionally life-changing. But the fishing is the anchor. It's steady, reliable income that keeps people here even after the pool burns them. Lose 200 stones? Fish for a day and you've got it back. Then what happens? You look at that pool again and think, maybe one more try. The pool hooks them. The fishing keeps them. And I profit from both. My territory now had 6 residents. By Shursan, Chi Dong, Chi Chio, and 3 new fishing enthusiasts. 6 Lord points. The place was starting to feel like an actual settlement. I still didn't understand why this lake never ran out of fish. The catches hadn't decreased at all despite weeks of intensive fishing. Something underneath was replenishing the supply, maybe a spirit vein, maybe something else entirely. Whatever it was, I wasn't complaining. Standing at my front door, I surveyed my territory. 1,000 meters in every direction, half lake, half land. A few houses, a fish pond behind my building, 6 residents. Not exactly impressive, but it was mine, and it was time to build it up properly. I checked my Lord panel. Foundation building level 9, 6 Lord points from my 6 residents. By Shursan, Chi Dong, Chi Chio, Lu Yun, Lei Meng, and Chen Feng. The 3 newcomers had settled in yesterday, after one day of fishing convinced them to stay permanently. They'd ordered courtyard cards on credit. Same deal as everyone else. Territory prosperity rating, extremely low. No surprise there. A few buildings and 6 people doesn't make a civilization. First priority, defense. I opened the Lord Marketplace and searched for 3rd-tier formations. 3 options stood out, all specially designed by the Yanhuang Alliance for Lords, scaled down to cover a 1,000-meter radius. The 4 symbols Guardian Formation, 18,000 stones, blocks. Golden Core early stage attacks for 1 incense sticks time. Basic warning system. The 5 elements rotation formation, 25,000 stones, blocks Golden Core mid-stage for half an incense stick. Comes with an illusion maze to trap enemies. The Heaven Canopy Protection Formation, Alliance Special Edition, 35,000 stones, blocks Golden Core late stage for 100 breaths. Comes with an identity card system. Non-card holders cannot enter. 1-button setup, designed for beginner lords. I picked the 3rd one without hesitation. 35,000 stones was steep, but the identity card feature alone was worth it. I could issue ID cards to residents, letting them pass freely while keeping everyone else out. Perfect access control. The formation arrived as a palm-sized octagonal silver disc covered in dense rune patterns with a golden crystal at its center. Along with it came a card-making device and 100 blank jade cards, thin as cicada wings. I bound the formation with a drop of blood, then walked outside and tossed the disc into the air. It hovered at Tenjong height, spinning slowly. I formed hand seals and channeled spiritual power into it. Silver runes erupted outward like a tide, sinking into the ground, the lake, and the sky. In 3 breaths, the entire 1,000-meter territory was wrapped in an invisible force field, undetectable to the eye or spiritual sense. Only Golden Core late-stage cultivators probing at full power might notice the faint spatial distortion. Through the formation, I could sense every life within my territory. Bai Shursan fishing by the lake, Chi Dong cultivating in his courtyard, Chi Chio making fish soup, the 3 newcomers counting their catches outside Lu Yun's cabin. Then I made my first identity card. I placed a blank jade card into the device, pressed my palm against it, and set my permissions to maximum. Full formation control, card issuance and cancellation, unrestricted access everywhere. The card lit up with golden text. Name, Ninggu. Identity, Lord. Permission, highest. Territory, Ningxian Pavilion. Duration, permanent. I stepped through the formation boundary. No resistance at all. The Lord passes freely, as it should be. Now I had real security. The invincible formation was my nuclear option, expensive and temporary. This new formation was my everyday shield, running constantly, keeping my territory sealed against anyone without a card. Between the 2 formations, my little patch of lakeside wilderness was becoming one of the most well-defended spots in the region. Golden Core late stage couldn't break in fast enough before I'd activate the invincible formation and hit them with Golden Core 9 peak power. Time to start making this place look like a proper territory. It was time to upgrade everything. My old 3-story building had served its purpose, but as a lord's residence, it was embarrassing. So I went shopping. First, defense. I bought the Heaven Canopy Protection Formation, Alliance Special Edition, for 35,000 stones. It's a 3rd-tier formation covering my entire 1,000-meter territory, capable of blocking Golden Core late-stage attacks for 100 breaths. More than enough time for me to activate the invincible formation or escape to Yanhuang Star. The best feature was the identity card system. I got a card-making device and 100 blank jade cards. Only card holders can pass through the formation. Everyone else gets blocked. Perfect security. I bound the formation with a drop of blood, tossed the disc into the air, and activated it. Silver runes flooded outward in every direction, sinking into the ground, the lake, and the sky. 3 breaths later, my entire territory was sealed inside an invisible barrier, undetectable to anyone below Golden Core late stage. Through the formation, I could sense every living thing within my territory. All 6 residents, going about their business. Complete awareness. Next, the building. I searched the Lord Marketplace for a proper Lord's residence and found 3 options. I picked the most expensive one, the 9 Heavens Soaring Cloud Tower, Luxury Edition. 18,000 stones. 9 stories tall, 350 square meters of ground footprint, but 4,000 square meters of interior space thanks to spatial expansion arrays. I sold my old building back to the marketplace, filled in the fish pond, and activated the building card on the empty ground. The construction was magical, literally. Materials appeared from nowhere and assembled themselves silently, like invisible hands stacking blocks. Half an incense stick later, a magnificent 9-story tower stood by the lake. Green tiles, red pillars, curved eaves with copper bells that chimed in the wind. Stone lions flanked the entrance, and a new sign hung above the door in gold lettering on black iron. Ningxian Pavilion. Inside was everything I could want. The first floor was a grand hall with jade flooring and landscape paintings, plus a reception counter and display shelves for merchandise. Second floor, cultivation chambers with spirit-gathering arrays. Third, alchemy and artifact crafting rooms. Fourth, a library, empty for now. Fifth, spirit beast and spirit plant rooms with adjustable environments. Sixth, a training arena with reinforced walls. Seventh, a stargazing platform with crystal dome. Eighth, my private quarters, bedroom, study, tea room, bathroom. Ninth, a rooftop terrace overlooking the entire territory. This was more like it. I sat at my new redwood desk and started planning the territory layout. 750 acres of land to work with. I divided it into zones, a core area around my tower, a commercial district to the east for future shops and trading, a residential district to the north near the lake for cultivator housing, and reserve land for farms and workshops. I bought 10 first-tier courtyard cards at 2,000 each and 5 second-tier small tower cards at 8,000 each. That ate up most of my remaining budget, but I'd have housing ready for future residents. Then I went around to all 6 residents and handed out identity cards. Each card needed a drop of blood to bind. Then they could pass freely through the formation. I told them about the upcoming commercial district. Anyone who wanted could rent a shop, first 3 months free. Lu Yun jumped at the offer immediately. The others were excited too, already imagining themselves as shop owners. I assured them the area would have plenty of visitors soon. From my rooftop terrace that evening, I looked out over everything. The lake reflecting sunset colors. 5 new empty dwellings waiting for future tenants. The commercial district still just an open field, but already planned out in my mind. The formation hummed invisibly around us, turning this little patch of wilderness into a safe, self-contained world. From a lakeside shack to a 9-story tower. From 1 person to 6 residents. From 0 defenses to a 3rd-tier barrier and a golden core trump card. And this was just the beginning. I didn't witness any of this personally, but I pieced it together later. The Zhao family's old steward, Zhao Mingyuan, got left behind when the family fled. 90 years of loyal service, and they gave him 100 spirit stones and told him to figure it out. The man who'd served 2 generations of patriarchs, abandoned like trash. He didn't waste time feeling sorry for himself. He went straight to the Wang family, the other power at the heavenly capital mountain market, and offered them a deal. The truth about the Zhao family's destruction in exchange for a quiet retirement. A small courtyard, 100 stones per month, nothing extravagant. He brought proof, a recording stone that Shadow 7 had made, showing the flood dragon corpse appearing outside my building. He told them everything. How Zhao Yongchang brought the soul-subduing bell and 11 shadow guards and died instantly. How Zhao Wuji came for revenge and got erased by 100 Zhang golden palm. how the surviving family members saw it all from 30 miles away and scattered like terrified animals. The Wang family patriarch, Wang Qingyun, was shaken. His elders went pale. A foundation-building peak cultivator, obliterated in one strike. That meant golden core mid-stage at minimum, possibly late stage. And someone who could casually produce a complete flood dragon corpse had to be even more terrifying than that. The old steward gave Wang Qingyun some wise advice. Don't repeat the Zhao family's mistake. The Zhao family died because they attacked. If the Wang family doesn't provoke me, there's no reason for conflict. Better to try making friends with a powerful neighbor than making an enemy. Wang Qingyun was smarter than Zhao Yongchang. He accepted the advice, took in the old steward as a guest elder, and made a decision that would work in my favor. He recalled all scouts from the lake area and ordered his people to prepare a generous gift. In 3 days, the Wang family would pay a formal, friendly visit to Ningxian Pavilion. Not as enemies, as potential allies. The old steward walked out into the sunlight, leaning on his cane. After 90 years of serving a family that threw him away, he'd traded their secrets for a peaceful old age. Can't say I blame him. As for what the Wang family's visit would bring, well, that was something I'd deal with when it arrived. More customers, more connections, more opportunities. The Zhao family's destruction was already paying dividends I hadn't planned for. 3 days after I set up the new formations and tower, the Wang family came calling. I sensed them approaching through my formation, 11 people, led by their patriarch Wang Qingyun at foundation building level 5, plus 2 elders at levels 4 and 3, and 8 Qi refining juniors carrying 4 fancy red gift boxes. When they hit my formation barrier, they couldn't get through. I watched them through my spiritual sense. They weren't hostile, just nervous. Wang Qingyun straightened his robes, bowed toward my building, and announced himself formally, asking permission to visit. I opened a gap in the formation and stepped out. Come in. Wang Qingyun's eyes went wide when he saw my 9 heavens soaring cloud tower. 9 stories of magnificence he clearly wasn't expecting. I could tell he was confused. He'd imagined some terrifying hidden monster's lair, not a clean, organized settlement with people fishing peacefully by the lake. He also noticed there was no spirit vein here, which puzzled him. Honestly, I can't afford one yet. Spirit veins are expensive. He presented his gifts with extreme politeness. A 500-year purple jade ginseng, a second-tier weapon called the Flowing Cloud Sword, 500 mid-grade spirit stones, premium spirit tea, aged wine, and silk fabrics. Worth around 60 or 70,000 stones total on the Lord Marketplace. The ginseng alone was a life-saving treasure for foundation-building cultivators, a real sacrifice from their treasury. Smart man. He'd rather lose 30% of his family's treasures than risk becoming the next Zhao family. I invited them inside, served them spirit tea from the marketplace that was actually better than what they'd brought me. Wang Qingyun kept glancing around the hall, the jade floors, the enchanted landscape paintings, the rosewood furniture, getting more impressed and more confused by the minute. I cut to the point. You're not just here for pleasantries. He tensed, then launched into his pitch. The Zhao family's destruction had nothing to do with the Wang family. They harbored no ill will. They just wanted peaceful coexistence. I smiled. Whoever bothers me, I deal with. Whoever doesn't, I leave alone. The Zhao family paid their price. As long as the Wang family doesn't cause trouble, we're fine. The relief on his face was instant. Then I made my move. Actually, I need a favor. He practically leaped out of his chair to agree. I need you to spread the word. Ningxian Pavilion is open for business, spirit fish, pills, talismans, weapons, techniques, dwelling rentals. But the main attraction is the Myriad Immortals pool. 200 spirit stones per use. Chance to receive items from first tier all the way up to third tier, golden core level treasures. He and his entourage stared at me in stunned silence. They'd come prepared to appease a terrifying hidden master, and instead discovered I was running a shop. I could see the calculation behind Wang Qingyun's eyes. Would my business compete with the heavenly capital mountain market? Probably. Did he dare complain? Absolutely not. You're a trading establishment? He managed. That's right. What exactly is this Myriad Immortals pool? His curiosity was genuine. I'd let him see for himself. After all, the best advertising is a personal demonstration. And if his people spent stones at the pool, I'd profit from the fees and collect duplicate copies of anything good they pulled. The Wang family had just walked in as cautious visitors. They were about to walk out as my marketing department. Wang Chengyun sat across from me, trying to play it cool, while his eyes kept drifting toward the Myriad Immortals pool. He asked if it was really true, 200 stones for a chance at golden core level treasures. I invited him to try it himself. Call it a return gift for his generous visit. He agreed immediately. 50 pulls, 10,000 stones total. 5,000 as my fee, 5,000 into the pool. For the patriarch of the most powerful family at the heavenly capital mountain market, this was pocket change. His two elders looked uncomfortable with the expense, but kept quiet. I could tell what he was really doing. He wanted to test whether the pool was legitimate, probe my capabilities, and gather intelligence. Fine by me. Every stone he spent earned me a fee plus a secret duplicate of anything good. He started pulling. The first 10 orbs were disasters. A brick, a dead twig, sand, a rusty iron scrap, half a broken comb. His elders were growing more embarrassed by the second, clearly convinced the pool was a scam. Wang Qingyan stayed calm. He'd already written off the 10,000 stones as the cost of buying my goodwill. If he lost everything, at least he'd earned favor with a mysterious, powerful cultivator. Smart thinking. Around pull 11, things improved slightly. 10 upper-grade condensing chi pills with 3 pill patterns, worth about 1,000 stones. Then a few more batches of low-grade items. Pull 23 produced a jade slip containing a top-grade sword technique worth 2,000 stones. Pull 27, a decent defensive artifact. Pull 30, a bag of second-tier clear mind grass seeds. Rare, valuable if cultivated, and unavailable at his marketplace. By pull 41, he was getting bored. The best result so far was those grass seeds. Nothing close to the legendary golden core treasures I'd advertised. I could see him mentally dismissing the pool as an overblown novelty. Then he opened pull 42. A white jade bottle fell into his palm. Warm to the touch, 7 silver pill patterns etched on its surface, forming a miniature formation diagram. The bottle was sealed with a spirit wood cork and a gold talisman paper stamped with a crimson seal character. Even through all those layers, the medicinal power radiating from inside was overwhelming, pure, refined, containing a sharpness that felt like it could shatter barriers. Like a golden core waiting to be born. I felt the information hit my mind and had to suppress my own reaction. Condensed golden core pill, I announced. 3 pattern quality. Increases a foundation building peak cultivator's chance of forming a golden core by 70%. No side effects. Combined with supportive medicine and a spirit-rich environment, success rate exceeds 80%. Behind Wang Qingyun, Elder Wang Chenghai dropped his teacup. It shattered on the jade floor. Elder Wang Qingshan froze completely, mouth open, unable to speak. A condensed golden core pill. The kind of treasure that only appears at top-tier sect auctions across the entire great Qian immortal dynasty. When one surfaces, major powers fight over it like rabid dogs, bidding over 1 million spirit stones. The main ingredient only matures once per century and must be used within 12 hours of harvesting. The alchemist who can produce a 3-pattern version has to be at least nascent soul level. In the entire dynasty, you could count such masters on one hand, and Wang Qingyan just pulled one from my pool for 10,000 stones. He stood there holding the bottle, completely frozen. I could practically hear his brain short-circuiting. Meanwhile, in my storage bag, my own duplicate of that same pill sat quietly, courtesy of the myriad world's favor. Another condensed golden core pill, identical in every way. Mine to keep. The pool had done it again. Garbage for 41 rounds, then a bomb on pull 42. That's how it hooks people. Just enough pain to make the payoff feel miraculous. Wang Qingyun had come to investigate a potential threat. He was about to leave as the pool's most devoted believer and my best advertising channel to the entire region. Wang Qingyun's hands were shaking as he held the jade bottle. Not from fear, from pure, overwhelming excitement. He asked me 3 times if the condensed golden core pill was really his to keep. I told him everything obtained from the Myriad Immortals pool belongs to whoever pulled it. It's just a condensed golden core pill, I said casually. Nothing extraordinary. The look on their faces was priceless. They couldn't comprehend a place where golden core pills were treated as nothing special. Wang Chengyun actually blushed, probably thinking about the gift he'd brought me. Worth maybe 60,000 stones, while holding a pill worth several million. He connected the dots quickly. The flood dragon corpse. Was it also from this pool? That's right. Someone spent 200 stones and pulled it out. Very lucky. I could practically see the jealousy flash across his face. Someone else got a flood dragon for 200 stones. Who? He finished his remaining 8 pulls. Nothing spectacular. The best was a second-tier healing pill. But he didn't care anymore. His total haul from 50 pulls included the condensed golden core pill, clear mind grass seeds, various pills and weapons, and a pile of junk. Ignoring the pill, he roughly broke even on everything else. Including the pill, he'd turned 10,000 stones into millions in value. Meanwhile, I had my own duplicate of that condensed golden core pill sitting in my storage, plus copies of everything else worth keeping. The pool's public debut with a real outsider couldn't have gone better. Wang Qingyun bowed deeply and promised to keep the pill's existence secret. I told him not to bother. I wanted publicity. Ningxian Pavilion was open for business, and I needed the word spread. His attitude shifted completely. He'd arrived terrified of a mysterious killer. He was leaving as a true believer in the myriad immortals pool, convinced I was backed by power beyond his imagination. Before he left, I gave him 10 identity cards, 5 for the Wang family, 5 to share with trusted people. These were their passes through my formation barrier. From today onward, he told his people as they walked away, the Wang family can only be friends with Ningxian Pavilion. Never enemies. Any family member who offends them gets expelled. No exceptions. I watched them leave from my window. They'd arrived with heavy, nervous steps. They left practically floating. Within 3 days, Wang Chengyun would spread the word about my pool to every faction around the heavenly capital mountain. Carefully, strategically, making sure serious cultivators heard about the opportunity while keeping troublemakers away. Free marketing from the region's most powerful family. Can't beat that. I turned to look at the pool, its water reflecting the lamplight. What next? Expand my territory? Build a proper marketplace? Or save up for a spirit vein first? Because the thin spiritual energy here was getting embarrassing. All good problems to have. A few weeks ago, I was a broke spirit farmer with a garbage spirit root. Now I was a foundation-building peak lord with a 9-story tower, a 3rd-tier defensive formation, a golden core trump card, and a duplicate condensed golden core pill in my pocket. The wind over the heavenly capital mountain had already shifted, and it was blowing my way. I had a condensed golden core pill sitting in my storage bag, the duplicate I'd secretly received when Wang Chengyun pulled his from the pool. Originally, I'd planned to save up and buy one from the Lord Marketplace. This saved me a fortune. 8 out of 10 chance of success. Better odds than my foundation building attempt, and that had worked out fine. I sealed up Ningxian Pavilion with a closed for seclusion sign and headed back to Yanhuang Star. Golden core breakthroughs required dense spiritual energy, far more than my territory could provide without a spirit vein. I rented a top-tier golden core breakthrough room. 10,000 stones per day, 3 days reserved. 30,000 total. The room came with a spirit gathering formation that concentrated ambient energy to 100 times normal, meridian protection arrays in case of failure, and a 3rd-tier clear mind cushion that kept your mind perfectly calm. Expensive, but dying is more expensive. The room was on the 88th floor of the cultivation tower. Jade walls with natural cloud patterns, a circular platform in the center inscribed with gathering formations. I sat on the cushion and swallowed the pill. The warmth flooded through me instantly. Powerful but gentle, guided by the Great Sun Scripture's Golden Core chapter, which I'd bought for 50,000 stones after reaching foundation building peak. The process took 3 full days. Day 1. My spiritual lake began churning violently, its surface contracting as a vortex formed at the center, pulling in liquid mana and compressing it relentlessly. Day 2. A golden light appeared at the vortex's core, growing steadily brighter and more solid as more mana was crushed into it. Day 3. Noon. The lake had shrunk to 1/3 of its original size. The golden light condensed from egg size to fist size to the size of a pigeon egg, growing impossibly dense and brilliant. Fire-like patterns flickered across its surface. The Great Sun Scripture's signature, pure yang, scorching and fierce. Then, a soft hum from deep within my dantian. The golden light contracted to its absolute limit and crystallized into a perfect sphere the size of a longan fruit. Flawless, golden, slowly rotating, devouring surrounding spiritual energy. Golden core. Formed. My aura exploded. Foundation building peak to golden core level 1 in an instant. The mana pouring from the golden core was 10 times purer than before, a true qualitative leap. My spiritual sense expanded from 3 miles to 30. I could see the flow of spiritual energy itself, hear insects crawling far away, distinguish dozens of subtle scents I'd never noticed before. My body transformed too. Denser bones, muscle fibers woven like golden threads, skin faintly glowing with a pale gold sheen. The beginning of a golden body, unique to golden core cultivators. I stood up. My joints crackled like thunder. The power coursing through me was nothing like the invincible formation's temporary boost. That had been borrowed strength, like wearing someone else's armor. This was mine. Real, permanent, responsive to every thought. Walking out of the cultivation room, a fellow cultivator in the hallway sensed my aura and quickly stepped aside with a bow. "Congratulations on your breakthrough, senior." The receptionist downstairs smiled when she felt my presence. "Congratulations on achieving golden core." Back at Ningxian Pavilion, I stood on the 9th floor terrace, looking out over my territory. Everything was the same. The lake, the fishermen, the quiet evening. 3 days gone, nothing changed. Except me. I held up my palm and willed a tiny golden flame into existence. Danfire, a golden core cultivator's signature ability. The flame was only the size of a bean, but the heat distorted the air around it. With this, I could theoretically craft third-tier pills and artifacts, though I had no idea how. For now, it just looked impressive. Within the heavenly capital mountain region, 1,000 miles in every direction, I was now a top-tier existence. Without the invincible formation, I could handle any foundation-building cultivator with ease. Even ordinary early golden core cultivators. Well, I could fight them. Whether I'd win was another question. But the formation was still my trump card, and now it would simulate golden core 9 starting from my actual golden core base. Golden core achieved. Time to start thinking bigger. I wasn't there for what happened next, but I'd piece it together eventually. Wang Qingyun was paranoid the entire journey home. His hand never left his storage bag. He took a back-in trance into the Wang family compound, locked down everyone who'd accompanied him, and rushed straight to their family's forbidden grounds in the back mountain. Their ancestor, Wang Jinyue, had been in seclusion for 30 years, pushing from foundation building level 8 to level 9. Wang Qingyun used a blood-summoning talisman to wake him, the same type the Zhao family had used on their ancestor, reserved only for life-or-death emergencies. The old man came out furious. "Is the family under attack?" "No, ancestor. We found a treasure that will determine the Wang family's future for the next 100 years." Wang Qingyun knelt and presented the jade bottle. Wang Jinyue opened it. His hands started trembling. He'd spent 30 years grinding from level 8 to 9, knowing his chances of ever reaching golden core were less than 10% without external help. Now, holding a 3-pattern condensed golden core pill, 70% base success rate, potentially 80 or higher with proper conditions, the impossible had suddenly become almost certain. Where did this come from? He grabbed his grandson's shoulders. "Did you steal it? Buy it at an auction? If someone comes looking for it," Wang Qingyun told him everything. "The visit to my shop. The Myriad Immortals pool. 50 pulls for 10,000 stones. 41 rounds of garbage." Then, on pull 42, the pill appeared. The old man listened in silence, face growing more bewildered with each detail. "You're telling me you spent 200 stones and pulled a condensed golden core pill from a pool of water?" "Yes. And the shop owner just let you take it?" "He said it was nothing special." Wang Jinyue stared at his grandson for a long time, clearly wondering if the whole family had gone insane. But the pill in his hand was real. He could feel the power inside it, pure, refined, unmistakable. No illusion could replicate that. He gave clear orders. Absolute secrecy about the pill, strict control over everyone who'd visited my shop, and total obedience toward Ningxian Pavilion. He gives, we accept. He doesn't offer, we don't ask. Never test him. Never be greedy. He also requested 2 identity cards for himself. There was one problem, though. The heavenly capital mountain only had a 2nd-tier spirit vein, not nearly powerful enough to support a golden core breakthrough. Wang Jinyue needed a location with much denser spiritual energy. He looked toward the west, toward my lake. "I'll visit Ningxian Pavilion myself when the time comes." The old man's real concern wasn't just meeting me. It was finding a suitable breakthrough location. The pill was only half the equation. Without the right environment, even a 70% pill could fail. That was their problem to solve. For me, the important part was that the Wong family was now completely, irreversibly committed to being my ally. Their ancestors' life literally depended on staying on my good side. You can't buy that kind of loyalty. But apparently, you can pull it from a pool for 200 stones. Standing on my rooftop terrace at dawn, I felt the golden core rotating inside me. Each revolution sent a wave of pure mana through my body, 10 times more refined than anything I'd had at foundation building. My spiritual sense now covered 30 miles, reaching deep into the lake, where I could see fish swimming and water plants swaying. With the invincible formation, I now had nascent soul-level power as my trump card. Within thousands of miles, I finally had real security. Time to think bigger. My 1,000-meter territory was too small. If I wanted to build a proper immortal city, I need to expand to 100 miles. That meant attracting more residents. My 6 tenants came in with their 3-day haul of fish. The numbers were impressive. Bai Shisan had 122 fish, including 15 dragonfish. Qidong had 118 with 0 dragonfish, and Qiqiu had 125. All dragonfish. Every single one. Everyone just stared at him. The man was beyond unfair. I collected their fish, paid them out, and asked if anyone wanted to try the pool. All 6 wanted in. Qiqiu went first. He dropped his stones in and pulled out a dark gold token the size of a palm. One side had a coiled azure dragon with tiny ruby eyes. The back had ancient script nobody could read. Faint formation patterns flickered along the edges. The information from the Myriad Worlds pool hit my mind immediately. Dragon Palace Ruins entry token, 3rd tier. Grants access to the Azure Dragon Palace Ruins outer perimeter. Minimum entry requirement. Nascent soul cultivation. Must be bloodbound. Once bound, the holder can sense the ruins location. Nascent soul requirement? This ruins was high level. And it was somewhere nearby, which explained why this remote corner of the lake had such abundant spirit fish and dragonfish. The ruins were probably influencing the surrounding waters. I told everyone exactly what it was. No reason to hide it. The token was useless to anyone below nascent soul anyway. Qidong's reaction was interesting. He went completely still when he heard Azure Dragon Palace. Something flickered in his eyes. I filed that away. As for me personally, I had 0 interest in exploring any ruins. I'm a lord with a marketplace. Whatever treasures a dragon palace holds, I can buy the equivalent with enough spirit stones. Risking my life crawling through ancient traps and fighting guardian beasts. That's for adventurers. I'm a businessman. I'd hold on to my duplicate token though. Once I set up an auction house, something like this would fetch an astronomical price. A verified entry pass to an Azure Dragon Palace? Nascent soul cultivators would kill for it. Exploring is absolutely not happening. Ever. I have fish to sell and a territory to build. When I mentioned the Dragon Palace Ruins entry token, Qidong's face changed completely. Turns out he and his brother had come to this area specifically because of that ruins. Their sect's old records mentioned that Fallen Dragon Lake used to be called Azure Dragon Palace, home to a powerful azure dragon. When the palace fell, the lake took its current name. Qidong confessed everything. He'd been secretly investigating the ruins this whole time, and initially treated me as a rival treasure hunter. Now he realized how ridiculous that was. I clearly didn't care about some underground ruins when I had the Myriad Immortals pool producing treasures on demand. His theory about why this corner of the lake had endless spirit fish finally clicked for me too. The Dragon Palace ruins underneath were likely radiating energy that sustained the fish population. That explained why my fishing device never came back empty despite weeks of nonstop harvesting. Don't worry, I told him. Eventually, you might reach nascent soul and explore it yourself. As long as they kept buying pills from my shop, advancing was just a matter of time and money. Qiqiu pocketed the token casually. Free is free. Then everyone took turns at the pool. Qidong went next. 10 pulls. 10 pieces of garbage. Rocks, dead vines, rusty tools, broken tiles. 2,000 stones down the drain. His face went from white to green to black. I told him the granite was a fine specimen. He did not appreciate my humor. Then I may have encouraged him to try again. If it were me, I wouldn't accept that result. He threw in 400 more stones. Got sand and an iron ingot. The man nearly collapsed. His brother had to catch him. 12 pulls total, nothing worth more than 20 stones combined. Meanwhile, his brother pulled a Dragon Palace entry token on his first try. The universe has a sick sense of humor. Bai Shisan went next, 2 pulls. Got a basic talisman manual worth a few hundred stones, then a top-grade first-tier cultivation pill with 9 patterns. Not bad at all. Lu Yin tried once. The orb cracked open, and a pill dropped into her trembling hand. A foundation-building pill. 9 pattern quality. The kind where even a complete idiot succeeds at breaking through. The hall went dead silent. She'd been stuck at Chi refining level 5 for 5 years with mediocre talent and 0 prospects for foundation building. 1 pull at the pool, 200 stones, and her future was guaranteed. She bowed to me so deeply I thought she'd hit the floor. Your luck, not mine, I said. Though privately, I was thinking, if I'd had this pill back when I was breaking through, I wouldn't have gambled with a 30% ordinary pill like an idiot. Lei Ming got a decent flying sword. Chen Feng got a useful speed-boosting talisman. Both roughly broke even. And Qi Dong, still nothing. The biggest loser of the day, every single time. Looking at these 2 brothers, one pulling legendary treasures on every attempt, the other getting literal dirt, I felt a strange comfort. At least someone's luck was worse than mine. I needed muscle. Not the kind that eats and complains, the kind that follows orders perfectly and never sleeps. The Lord Marketplace had an entire category for combat puppets. Yanhuang Star's puppet technology is incredible. 3,000 years of merging cultivation with artificial intelligence produced something revolutionary. Unlike the crude corpse puppets used in most cultivation worlds, our smart puppets have intelligent cores that can think, learn, and make tactical decisions. They cast real techniques through embedded spell formations, fight with better coordination than human cultivators, and never panic or retreat. The only downside, they burn through spirit stones like water during intense combat. I browsed the options. Chi refining late-stage guards cost 10,000 stones each, decent for basic security. Foundation building early stage at 50,000. Foundation building mid-stage at 100,000. Foundation building late stage. Commander models at 300,000. These could coordinate lower-level puppets in formation tactics, turning a squad into something far more dangerous than the sum of its parts. My territory was growing. More residents. More visitors coming soon with the Wang family spreading the word. More potential trouble. I couldn't handle everything alone, and my current residents were useless in a real fight. Bai Shisan and Qi Dong couldn't even handle those 3 bandits without resorting to fist-fighting. But first I needed money. I'd been quietly scaling up operations. After learning about the Dragon Palace ruins likely sitting beneath this stretch of lake, I bought 10 more fully automatic fishing devices. 11 total now, each bringing in over 10,000 stones per day. That's over 100,000 stones daily from fishing alone. Plus, I had a duplicate 9-pattern foundation building pill from when Lu Yun pulled hers at the pool. I listed it on the Lord Marketplace for 820,000 stones. Sold in half an incense stick. Balance, 874,000 stones. Time to go shopping for my private army. The puppet technology has an interesting history. When our people first encountered puppet masters in other worlds, those cultivators used crude methods. Monster souls stuffed into metal shells, barely functional. Then about 2,700 years ago, Yanhuang Star cracked intelligent cores, crystals containing billions of spirit pattern nodes that simulate human thought, combined with spell formation, meridians, that let puppets cast real techniques. The smart puppet was born. Mass-produced on factory lines, quality-controlled, reliable. A perfect fighting machine that doesn't eat, sleep, complain, or betray you. Just needs spirit stones and orders. Honestly, looking at my residence, Bai Shisan fishing peacefully, Qi Dong moping about his terrible luck, Qi Qiu cheerfully oblivious. I wish they had half the drive these puppets have. If I'd stumbled onto a myriad immortals pool that wasn't my own talent, I'd grind it until the pool itself begged me to stop. These people jest, fish, and complain about prices. Still, I couldn't help but smile. Back when I was a spirit farmer, 400 stones a year felt like wealth. Now I was casually selling pills worth more than most foundation-building families own. Life had gotten significantly better.